going to be somewhat of an unorthodox live, but I wanted to talk to you folks. I'm actually on location near in downtown Chicago, but I'm not where I normally am, as you can probably tell. So bear with me on the lighting. I hate that the lighting is not what it should be because I'm not running this with my typical setup, so I don't have the ring light and all of the lights and things like that aimed at me while I'm talking to you folks. And of course, you're going to get the bright light coming off of my right side here. There we go. Maybe that'll work. I wish I could actually open the curtains and show you folks because I'm pretty high up. Got a nice view outside. I'm only a couple blocks from the Chicago lakefront, pretty much on Magnificent Mile. So I'm downtown Chicago. But what I wanted to talk to you folks about, just to run this live, now that it is 100% confirmed that President Donald J. Trump is our next commander in chief, pros and cons. That is what the live stream is titled today. Now I'm doing this impromptu, so you got me butt ass naked in terms of I don't have my notes. I don't even have a pen, damn it. However you throw this at me, this is you catching me in my most vulnerable state. But we're going to be talking about pros and cons. What are you most concerned with? Um, what are you most celebrating? I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, Trump's term is not going to be all negative and it's not going to be all positive. Just like any other president, all the 45 presidents that served the job before him, pros and cons. All 45 previous presidents had something good about their administration and had something negative about their administration. So we're going to be talking about pros and cons. Now, looking at the comments right off the bat, Mayhem says, dollar gas, I need it. Is any of you believing that if Trump gets reelected, fuel is going to go down to $1 a gallon? Are there folks who really believe that Trump will lower the price of fuel down to $1 per gallon? I gotta say, I think not. I think that's very, very wishful thinking. By the way, Trump could restore the economy quite well and you still not see fuel at $1 a gallon. I mean, at the end of the day, it's difficult to roll back inflation to that level. I mean, whether we're talking about Biden or Harris or whatever we want to bring up, employers like to see raises as well. Company CEOs, shareholders, they like to see an increase in their profit. A lot of times, one of the ways to do that is to raise the price of goods and services. So, gas lowered to $1 a gallon, not likely to happen in my opinion. But we're gonna go to the box and start taking calls very shortly. Looking in the comments real quick, you still said if he gets elected. No, I don't. Well, he's elected. He's 100% elected. Maybe I messed up on the wording there, cheeky chops. No, he is 100% the president. I mean, when he gets in office, my fault. I am used to saying if he gets elected because I also, before we start these programs, you put in the hashtags and all of this other shit to get the algorithm going so that YouTube and TikTok knows who to post this stuff to. I'm still used to putting in hashtag Biden, hashtag Kamala Harris, sometimes occasionally hashtag Tim Walz. All that shit's irrelevant now. All of that's irrelevant now. So when I start the program, I'm trying to make sure I don't put in these. I mean, those are irrelevant terms now. Kamala Harris, that name will probably be said for maybe a few months, maybe a year or so. Before after that, she will fade away. You won't be talking about Kamala Harris much longer. Miss Jamie, yeah, appreciate the hat mustache. So let me go to the box because I want to take callers. Just because my setup is so ridiculous right now, I want to make sure people can be heard. Country Hound Dog, good morning. Welcome to the program, assuming the box brings you up. Okay, Country Hound Dog, good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
Hey.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Real quick.
Sure.
You remember, I think it was back around about July, you was asked me if I thought Trump was going to win.
Okay.
I said he's going to take 60%.
Shit.
I missed it by 1.8.
Yeah. I've been eating so much crow they're going extinct in my neighborhood. I mean, I do remember you saying that. I do remember. I do remember. I didn't
I missed
listen.
it by 1.8%.
Hey, congratulations, man. I will say
Well,
this. I knew there was a possibility he could win just simply because of all of the MAGA, all of the liberals and progressives I talked to that were saying we're voting for Trump. But
right?
I didn't expect it to be by this big of a landslide.
You know why? I will say this, and this is my opinion. And how many times did you hear me say, if they would have just shut up about Trump and not spoke his name, what would he have done? He'd have faded away.
I don't buy that. I think it
I think he
was.
would have.
I,
But
go
when
ahead.
they started gunning for him, the more they gunned for him, the more Americans woke up and said, hey, why are they gunning for him over this? Why are they gunning for him over that? Why are they going after him over that? It made people think. The more they went after him, America loves an underdog.
I don't buy it from that aspect. I believe that it's simply what the Democrats were promoting was not what the most Americans were seeking. Trump was promoting a strong economy, defending the border, whereas the Democrats are promoting more, the LGBT stuff, women's right to choose. And I think there's far more Americans that are concerned with what Trump was talking about correcting versus Kamala Harris.
And that is true. And I will say one thing. If the Democrats would have kept the border closed like Trump did, I don't think Trump would have got reelected because we would have an absolute booming economy right now.
I don't disagree with that. I do believe the border is such a huge issue against Kamala Harris that you're probably correct. I don't know if you're 100% correct, but I'm more on your side than not. That if the border wasn't such an issue like it is, her chances would have been significantly better because that is probably, if not the biggest issue. Like you said, the economy would have been better as well. So yeah, I would say you're probably far more right than not on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So what about the cons? What about the cons? Do you foresee anything negative with Trump taking office?
well, of course, I'm going to say I wonder about small businesses. Okay.
Explain.
I think small businesses will be okay, but the bigger businesses, because if we eliminate the payroll tax, how is that going to affect big business? Um, it'll definitely help the little man, like me and you.
Okay.
Okay. But how is that going to affect the big business? Because we want to impose these tariffs. And face it, how many goods do we use that are imported now?
Well, Trump. If yeah, you're right. But
The
think of it.
cost of them goods are going to go up.
Yeah, but think of it this way: if Trump gets if he gets if the tariffs go ridiculous and we start having to make our own stuff, wouldn't that be good for new American jobs being created? Isn't that what he's kind of running on? Is that he's looking to have more goods made in America?
And I agree with you on that. However, we are going to have to go through a rough period
Yeah.
of will the payroll tax cut, where we pay no more payroll taxes, will that outweigh what we lose in paying higher prices on goods for a brief time, say a year or so, until we start bringing back manufacturing to the U.S.?
Well, I think Trump is not actually going to. I won't say lying, but I think ultimately things like no taxes on tips and that payroll. I don't think that stuff's going to be delivered. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I think that once he gets in there and his economic analysts start telling him, just like with the 1,000, 2,000% tariffs we're talking about, all this shit, I don't think that stuff's going to happen. I think he made some promises. And just like last time he was promising to drain the swamp and things like that, his supporters still liked him. So even though he may not meet all of his promises, I don't think his supporters would be critical of him simply because they didn't like the liberals just that much. But I don't think that stuff is going to happen.
I'll be honest with you, I'd like to see manufacturing come back to the U.S., but I will say this, and this goes out to everybody, and I do mean everybody, no matter who you are. If we do want America to continue to be the most powerful nation in the world, the one thing we got to get away from, we got to get away from being a throwaway nation.
What do you mean? What do you mean by throwaway? Like throw away electronics and things like that?
Exactly. TV breaks, we throw it away. Phone breaks, we throw it away. Anything that messes up, we just throw it away and go buy new because it costs more to repair than it does to replace in today's world.
Yeah, but that's everywhere. That's not just in America. The whole world is a throwaway nation. Nobody goes into television and pops out resistors and all of that anymore. That's everywhere.
I've been around the world. Okay?
So you're talking about like really dirt poor nations that can't afford to do it.
Go to the poorer nations, and it's crazy. I mean, you will see them repairing things, and it's amazing the skills that these people have. I mean, we should wish that our welders and our machinists were that skilled.
Yeah. I mean, I get you. I have seen that. I do know what you're talking about, what they do. I mean, I would say just like with vehicles, if you look at Cuba, how they keep running vehicles from the 1950s and things like that.
Yeah.
Poverty is the necessity of invention.
And that's it. I'm not trying to say we need to go back to being in poverty, but I would like to see us getting away from being a throwaway nation and see things that we can fix on our own more so rather than having to replace. Because if we can fix them for less money than we can replace them, then we're keeping money in our pocket.
Well, something that actually would also probably be much better for the environment as well, because a lot of that stuff turns into garbage and junk. I went to the dump not long ago, a few weeks ago, emptied a lot of things out of my garage, and I'm looking at all of the different areas. They were like, well, put all, appliances over here and, metals. And I'm looking at all these appliances. I bet a lot of this should work. I'm like, people are just simply going out and buying a new washer and dryer and actually bringing their old one to the dump. I'm like, I bet you a whole lot of this shit actually works. We do throw away a lot of things, as you say, that could be salvaged.
We do. And it's just, and with the cost of goods and things, it's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And, but like I said, for me, I'm not rich.
Okay? Neither am I.
Me and my wife, we live in a single wide on 6 acres. It ain't much of nothing. Out in the middle of nowhere. But we like it. It's peaceful. It's quiet. I mean, I drive an '01 Dodge Ram.
Damn, you've been fixing the hell out of that motherfucker. '01? You got
'01, and you know what? It's rust free. I can jump in it today, drive to Cali.
Nice.
From Kentucky to Cali and back. No problems. My service truck is an '07. And that's my work truck. That's what I drive every day when I'm out here working, fixing these semis. We quit jonesing for the newest thing. And that will also help our economy come back to a level that everybody can afford.
All right, fair enough. I got to move it on, Country Hound Dog, but it sounds like you got a little bit of liberal deep down in you, because some of the things you're talking about actually would help the economy, and you often hear it from some of the left. There's a little bit of liberal way down inside of you there. Appreciate you coming on, though. Plenty of crow to eat. You're right. Trump took it by pretty wide margin. You came a hell of a lot closer to it than I did. Appreciate you coming on, man. Go ahead.
You can't be far right and you can't be far left. We got to come together in the middle.
I don't think that's going to happen, but maybe I'm wrong again. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with thank you. Moving on with the program. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Why would it now? And the reason why I say it, and I always enjoy talking to Country Hound Dog, good talk. I will say this before I go to the next caller. If you got a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, you've won the House, you've won the Senate, you've won the presidency, the chances of what's coming closer to the center is pretty low. Just for my beloved MAGA side of the aisle. Just imagine if Biden or Obama or Kamala Harris had a 6-3 liberal majority on the Supreme Court, control of the Senate, likely control of the House, control of the presidency. Do you think we'd be coming closer to the center? Or do you think we'd be going further to the left? Moving on with the program real quick, I do want to ask that you folks tap the screen, get the likes up. I'm actually different location. Obviously, I'm actually in a hotel room right now. To be honest with you, near Navy Pier, downtown Chicago. Will G, just imagine the shit on Amazon is about to go up because of Cheeto Masters tariffs. Will you never disappoint? Now he's saying, the prices of goods are about to skyrocket because of the tariffs Trump is talking about. He used the term Cheeto Master. That is obviously Trump he's referring to, but I'm kind of hesitant to think that those tariffs will be implemented. I just believe that Trump wants a legacy of a good economy, and everybody is saying those tariffs will destroy the economy. I haven't heard anybody suggesting that those tariffs won't hurt the economy. I think Elon Musk alluded to there will be suffering for the first few years or something like that, and then it'll get better. I'm not going to argue with Elon Musk on finances by any stretch of the imagination, but if that is true, then he's kind of predicting what Trump is talking about, at least in the interim, will be disastrous for the economy. We may come out of it looking like roses, but Elon Musk is saying it won't start out very well. Will G says a game console and video games themselves are about to go through the roof. Really, anything that, like my last caller was talking about, electronics and being repairable. Will G, you're likely correct because all of that stuff is made overseas. I mean, like, the PlayStation, which is, the Sony PlayStation, a very popular video game, it's obviously made in Japan. So, yeah, I definitely agree that video games will be ridiculously priced, particularly the consoles. I mean, think about it. Samsung products, I'm on 2 of them right now, and the other one is an Apple iPhone. All of that shit's made elsewhere. So I don't see how the tariffs won't cause electronics in general, not just video game consoles, but electronics in general to skyrocket. Before I go back to the box, Will G says no tax on tips was implemented in the first Trump administration. It was for executives to pocket any tips left for employees. That's a damn shame. If that's the case. Going back to the box, real quick, and thank you folks that are tapping the screen. I'll go straight to one of the subscribers of the program, Mike the Sailor. Good morning, Mike. We're talking about pros and cons. We got Donald J. Trump assured in the White House less than 100 days. Pros and cons, what say you? Apparently we got Mike, but we don't have Mike.
I only wanted to ask you one question.
Sure, what you got?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I'm surprised. My phone's breaking up for some reason. Okay. Repeat your question for me, please.
Trump pros and cons. We're talking about the fact that Trump. You got a bad signal, Mike. I may have to drop you and have you come back. Your signal is obviously pretty bad there because I hear you loud and clear, but apparently you don't hear me. Let me continue on the program. Sorry to have to drop you, Mike, but apparently you got a signal issue there. Robert Porter. About to say good evening. Good morning, Robert Porter.
Good evening. Good morning.
You got an echo. Are you on Bluetooth? Oh, God. Okay. There's no way that conversation can. Robert, I had nothing but echoes. I heard more of me than you. I'm just having some problems today. I don't know what the hell's going on. Let's try Harry Sisson. One more time. I don't know what the hell's going on. Damn near everyone on this app is a salesman for China. I mean, damn, you're right about that, hold fast. Harry, can you hear me? Loud and clear.
All right. Seems to be working good.
Sounds good. Pros and cons of the Trump administration. Less than 100 days away. What say you?
Well, I think the pros is I think he successfully ended the left. I don't see the left coming back from this. I mean, in any real way, I don't think they're a threat at all anymore. I mean, they're completely in shambles. You got them blaming each other. You got the Bernie Sanders types saying you ran on corporatism. You ran on trying to outflank the right from the right by coming to the center. And the progressives are screaming they're never going to. There's just, I don't see anything.
You know something?
Like a real coalition.
2 points to be made. first point is I agree with you, and I want to elaborate on that. But the second point is if Trump had a lost, the right we would be having the same conversation in reverse because you would have the right saying we knew this guy was a felon, we knew he had all this baggage.
Well,
Why would we?
I disagree. I think you would have had people going to the Capitol and they would have been attacking. I mean, they would have said they lost. If any real fashion, if he would have lost in any similar fashion to what happened in 16, I mean, everyone would be saying it was.
Wait a minute. So what you're basically saying is that Trump and Trump supporters would not have accepted a loss in this race. They believed that the only outcome they had to win.
Yeah, I do think January 6th genuinely scared the elites, and they did not want that again. That was, it was a scary time for someone who's an elite person who's sitting on a lot of power when there's like a populace.
So based on what
these were Trump supporters, like going to the Capitol to try to decertify the election, like this guy, and then Trump went to D.C., he gave a speech, he sent his people to the Capitol. And I do think there was, antagonizers and all that stuff. That's a different conversation.
But the antagonizers were people that Trump brought along with him, like Rudolph Giuliani and Steve Bannon.
I disagree with that. I believe there was, bad faith actors.
Wait a minute. When Rudolph Giuliani said, let's have trial by combat on January 6th, what did that mean?
No, I'm agreeing. I think that was a scary time for the elites. I do think, whether or not you think there were bad actors involved,
you said antagonizers.
I'm not talking bad actors that were bad. I'm talking about
but you said
other actors.
Hold on up. You said there were antagonizers like the Ray Epps and FBI. If he's saying let's have trial by combat, how is he not an antagonizer?
No, 100%. There were Trump supporters that were attacking the police, broke down the barriers, and wanted to, hold Capitol. Like that did happen.
Should they be pardoned? Should they be pardoned?
Yes, I do believe they should be pardoned.
They were attacking police and breaking down barriers, yet you believe they should be pardoned. Elaborate.
I think most of the violent offenders should be pardoned, yeah. Well, one, because I do believe it. Well, you can't say it on here, but I think it was the right thing to do because it was, I believe it was, you can't say it's against terms of service, but you can put two and two together. I believe what Trump went down there to do was he was correct about that in what happened in these states. And I even believe that even more after the recent results that we've seen.
But yet, none of the Republicans said the same thing as Trump on January 6th. In fact, how many Republican senators think that Trump won in 2020? I don't know any.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not them. I'm not really a Republican, so.
But these are people that would have been in power, people who prefer the direction of the country that Trump is promoting. In fact, his own administration, is there anybody that was on his own administration? Like, Mike Pence and all, even they said he lost.
Well, yeah, that's besides the point. And I don't believe Mike Pence is a revolutionary like how we saw Trump. Like in Trump, he took on the entire GOP. He was getting booed in the primaries. He took on the Jeb Bush coalition. He took on Fox News. He took on the entire GOP. These people weren't, Trumpians as people make it.
It's interesting when you say he took on all of these different entities, because supporters of Trump always say, well, they never gave him a chance from day one and they were constantly attacking him. And I'm thinking, just like what you said, how the hell are you going to go into D.C. and literally attack everybody, but then complain, nobody's giving me a chance? You basically are making enemies for lunch. What do you think is going to happen if you're doing that?
Yeah, I do think there was a lack of a playbook for once he got in. It was kind of like, once a dog breaks away from the leash, it's like, I don't even know if he ever even thought he was going to win, but you do need a very, like a playbook almost for like what we're going to do when we get in there and how are we going to make sure these people that we know are bad faith actors and are going to try to subvert us, how are we going to, play along and not let that happen? Because that's clearly what happened, is he was clearly subverted for all 4 years.
Well, we can go back and forth on that, but in regards to the pros and cons, the pros is you clearly believe the left is in shambles. I don't totally but wait, hold on, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. The left is in shambles right now. Everything in government, all of the mechanisms are so far to the right, the liberals pretty much have to go along with whatever the Republicans are saying for the most part. Now, the only solace, the only thing that can save the liberals, in my opinion, is if Trump does the exact opposite of what the country hated out of the liberals. If Trump gets in there, because a lot of folks believe the left was taking the country too far to the left with letting anybody in and the LGBT. If Trump gets in there and does the exact same thing, but takes the country too far to the right, like shoving Christianity down people's throats, women are dying and being arrested because they're trying to exercise pro-choice things. Like, I think the same thing could happen to Trump that happened to Kamala Harris and Biden.
Yeah, especially, and it's not even so much what the people think, it's what the elite supporters think. Like you saw Dave Portnoy go on Fox News, and he said, well, we had to vote for Trump. It was our only choice. And it's not because he's a hardcore social conservative or he's a nationalist. This guy, he wants lower taxes, and he just doesn't believe in the crazyisms of the left. So, you know, if we do start doing mass deportations, I do see people like Dave Portnoy, people like Bill Ackman saying, whoa, throwing up their hands and be like, whoa, we didn't vote for this.
Yeah. And I see in the comments before you continue, I see in the comments, Where's Waldo says, you realize pro-choice is a state law, right? Yes, it is now. But that's the issue. If some of these states start doing really draconian shit, like I said, like letting women pass away or throwing women in prison, or some states are calling for the execution of women that have an abortion, regardless of it being a state law or not, it only happened because of the right. The right is what gave the states the ability to do some of that stuff. That's what would push the country more further to the left. Continue, Harry.
Well, what I think pushes the country farther to the right is not so much the people and their opinions and their day-to-day experience. It's the elite and what their opinions are and how they use their, the media machine and what they have available to them, their resources, and you see it through the.
So is there any?
So like if you look at people like Bill Ackman, people like Peter Thiel, all of these people who, well, not Peter Thiel, but Bill Ackman, Dave Portnoy, a lot of these Wall Street guys, they've all were left wing in 2016. They were anti-Trump. Even people like Zuckerberg, Bezos, all these people were gung ho for the left, and they were actually running anti-Trump campaigns during the election season. Now all these people either switch to Trump or they aren't supporting him at all, or they're saying, well, we made a mistake, like you saw with Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg.
That's like the Lindsey Graham of supporters. Some folks are truly on the Trump train. Other folks are jumping on because it's the only transportation in town. In other words, if I don't get on this train, I'm going to get left behind. Those are not genuine MAGA. There's a lot of folks on the Trump train that are like that.
But I think they would have preferred to be a left wing, but they saw what happened to their left. They made a massive mistake with their left wing playbook when they saw these high IQ, non-white, usually women, going to these college campuses, and they're screaming anti-Israel propaganda. Some of it's bleeding over into anti-Semitism. They're anti-Israel, and I think they will do whatever they can to make sure this will never ever happen again. Because that is the biggest threat to the powers that be, is having high IQ individuals in some of the greatest institutions of education and learning, pretty much being full on anti-Israel, bleeding over anti-Semitism. Never, ever, ever will they allow that again. So I think it's possible that a lot of these actors that were against Trump in 2016 are going to use him to try to completely squash out any sort of
let's see how, and this is, but I'm not totally disagreeing with that. But at the end of the day, let's see how far Trump goes to the right, because some of them may jump off the train under the guise that I got on the Trump train because it was the only transportation in town, but damn it, you went way too far past my station. I'll give you the last word. I got to move on.
I was thinking I was completely with you for a while until I heard someone say, the ultimate goal is war. The American people, they have to go to war with Iran. That's what our leaders want, or that's what our elite want, our captured elite. They want war with Iran more than anything. Anytime Donald Trump's hair gets messed up, it was Iran. Anytime Israel,
do you want war with Iran?
No, absolutely not. I think we should. No, I'd never want. I'm not Israeli. I'm not Jewish. I think Israel wants America to go to war with Iran so they can crush them.
I think what you want you may not get now that it's come out that the leaders of Iran was trying to assassinate Trump. I think Trump might be on board with
Well,
that
I mean,
war.
it's not that the left is anti-Iran.
They got nothing to do with the left. They got nothing to do with the left.
Biden saying he was going to go after Iran if they touched Trump. All the elite want to go after Iran, and you're not going to get it with this population that you have now with these third worldist women running around, saying that they hate Israel. You need a white coalition of like men with like Chad-shaped jaws with maybe the one cool black guy with the sunglasses. They're not gonna get war with Iran when you have like these screaming Muslim women from third world that like hate America and hate Israel. Like, you're never gonna get the American population to go to war with Iran for you. It's just never gonna happen, and that's what they want. If anyone knows what they're talking about, knows the writing is on the wall. They're almost seeding it's almost like predictive programming. It's like Trump's getting, anytime someone goes after Trump, it's Iran. Iran wants to kill Trump. No one in Iran wants to kill Trump. I mean, maybe the IRGC, but let's say they kill Trump, right? What's going to happen? Everyone on the left, even Joe Biden said he would go after Iran and crush them and take away, do regime change. Let's say you're the leading regime in Iran. The last thing you want to do is piss off the United States. And how do you do that? The number one way is to kill their leader. I mean, the left would 100%.
I gotta move it on, Harry. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but as always, I appreciate you coming through, man.
All
right, Harry. And I will say this: I don't know why Biden's FBI would lie and say that they were trying to take out Trump, and I don't think Trump's going to be very favorable to somebody threatening to take his life. Now, what my last caller was saying is that that's not likely true. Once Trump becomes president, he can demand to see the evidence of why they're saying somebody tried to put a hit on his life. I mean, he'll have all the assets he wants. I believe it. If they're saying that there was a hit out on Trump's life, because remember he took out Soleimani, a highly decorated, well-respected leader in Iran. Trump was bragging about it. He used that flying Ginsu missile, the one that does not have any explosives. It's literally a missile that fires down at high speed, and these blades come out of it, goes into the top of your car and literally cuts it in parts like a pie. The guy's thumb, Soleimani's thumb, you could actually go on Google and video it. And Trump was bragging about killing that guy. So I believe that Iran would want to take a hit out on him, because they also wanted one out on Ambassador Bolton during that time as well. Anyhow, going back to the box, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 20,000. We can make that happen. 20,000, THOU. It is your boy Tim the Handsome Liberal. Also on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button as well. We run the program the same every day. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. We always will be MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome as well. When I say we don't block, ban, or censor, I mean we go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anyone in the comment section up to and including the host. That's how uncensorship works. By the way, same thing on YouTube horizontal. Feel free to smash that like button as well. Going back to the box, pros and cons of the Trump administration. That's what we're discussing. No administration is all positive. No administration is all negative. Trump's going to be the 47th president. There were 45 other gentlemen before him in the White House, and they had pros and cons as well. So what are your expectations in terms of pros and cons of the Trump administration? Nikki No Show, good morning. Welcome to the program. Mike the Sailor, thank you for the graphic. Appreciate that. We'll see if we can get you back on because your audio was there. Nikki, good evening, or good morning, rather.
Handsome man, how are you doing?
I'm hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So what I want to ask you is,
don't. Oh my God.
pros and cons of the Trump administration. What say you?
Okay, so I have a lot of friends and a lot of trans friends, gay friends, Hispanic friends. I would say one of the things that I'm kind of worried about, you remember the Dreamer Act?
Yes.
That happened under Obama?
And he's going to get rid of that. He's already said that's DACA. That's not going to happen.
He's not going to?
Yeah, the Dreamers are the ones who were brought here by no fault of their own, haven't gotten in any trouble, but they're not documented, they're not legal. He's already made it clear they got to go too. In fact, I've heard rumors that they're suggesting that even documented, even folks that have residency or may have citizenship, if after getting citizenship or getting residency, you committed a violent crime of some type, they're talking about revoking their citizenship and sending them home too. And by the way, I don't know what violent crime could be. It could be anything from a DUI to murder. I don't know what it is, but they're talking about going after documented people too.
Described as something where you're actually physically injuring another party by fault and by knowledge. You know that you're committing violence. It's not that you're doing it on accident. So let's say you get in your car and you kill somebody. It's not, you weren't intending to cause violence on somebody. It is vehicular manslaughter, not technically considered a violent crime, even though somebody was unalived, right?
But here's the issue, though. Some countries do not entertain dual citizenship. So if you come to America and you become an American citizen, you may lose your citizenship from which you came. So how do you kick somebody out like that? They don't have citizenship anywhere. Where are you going to send them back to?
Do we have dual citizenship here?
Some countries we will allow it. Some countries we won't.
But as an American, if we decide to go to, let's say, Mexico next door, does the United States recognize our Mexican citizenship? I don't think they do.
Yeah, and see, I can't speak on it. I don't know exactly.
But I see your point.
Yeah.
I mean, where are they going to go? There is no other place for them to go.
Right.
And that I find that, that's a good talking point right there. That's a very good talking point, because some of these people, like you said, they're coming from, South America. They're escaping persecution from either cartels or the government, the crazy regimes that they have, military encampment in their lands, and they have no other choice. So they hear the United States is the land of the free. There's multiple opportunities there. Hey, we can practice our religion. We can try to get richer and maybe possibly send money home to our families. Now, I think here's a con that I have. The demonization of immigrants coming to the United States due to the fact that, all we've heard throughout this entire presidential campaign on Trump's side has been, oh, we've got rapists, we've got murderers, we've got this.
They're eating pets.
I know that, and we all know that most of this is all theater, right? It's trying to paint the next party over to being weak. I'm bold. I'm going to stand up in the face of justice or for the people of our country. However, I would say that 95% of the people that come across that border are actually looking for better lives. My brother-in-law Obed, his mother lived in South America, and they moved here. Undocumented. He was born in Mexico on the trail. She's coming from South America. He's born on the trail. Okay. Carried into America, undocumented by coyotes, the people that transport you across the border.
Right.
And he's been here. He went to college here and all these things. And the biggest worry that he had under the first Trump administration is that they were going to do away with him, even though he was married to my sister, had 3 children here, had done everything, paid taxes. And another thing that a lot of people aren't educated about is that undocumented workers that are working in this country, they pay into Social Security, they pay into federal income tax.
Well, but you know what's going to be said. You know what's going to be said. You should have thought about that before coming into the country illegally, that you weren't going to get any of your tax money back. I want to ask you this, though, based on what you just said. And I'm going to admit I'm baffled, but the numbers don't lie, as they often say in sports, but I'm baffled by this. The question is, how the hell did Trump win the Hispanic vote based on the things you're talking about? How did he win it?
Because there is a lot of Hispanics here that have done their citizenship tests. They have gotten their green cards. The ones that are able to vote, you got to also remember, undocumented workers or undocumented people in the United States don't have the right to vote. So the people that came here that did do their time, that had the ability to vote as like you said, a Latino American, they saw that the path to citizenship took them A, B, and C.
But here's the problem with this. You stood in line, you did things the right way. So you don't favor people who are skipping the line or coming in illegally. So you vote for Trump. you do realize that he is then in turn going to prevent people from coming here the way you did too. You might be sending money to your family back in Guatemala somewhere, hoping that you can send enough and then they can come legally the way you did. Do they not realize that he's talking about shutting down legal avenues to get in here as well?
See, I didn't know about that part. I honestly, I know he talks a lot. There's been a lot of talk. I'm not, and by far, I'm going to be honest. I voted for Harris, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the kind of guy that says, "Oh my God, I'm going to put myself in a frenzy because we lost." No, what it is that now we need to understand that we need to reach across the aisle and not argue sense, but actually explain the sensible way of going about things. I mean, this country, you read the Constitution and it states that there's a certain way to become a citizen in this country. Now, you cannot override that Constitution, because when he raises his hand and he says, "I will solemnly swear to fulfill the office of the United States of America's presidential, and I believe in the Constitution," and he says all those things. Well, he's making an oath to the people in that document, supporting everything that's in it. The one thing that I was concerned about this election was the fact that they came so close to having the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Not only that, but having 2/3 of the states as a Republican nominee. Now, if that happens, I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but therefore you can have a constitutional convention. And
Wow.
what that means is if 2/3 of the vote goes towards the Republicans and they say, "Bring on the Constitutional Convention," they can pick and choose and cherry pick everything they like in that Constitution, do away with it, or add new things. So I'm actually kind of glad that some people showed up and vote, and I think they got 31 states out of the 33 that they needed to bring about a constitutional convention. So, I mean, my uncle used to say, every 4 years we have a war in this country. You know, every 4 years there's an argument about how we believe these things. This needs to be happening. This needs to be happening. And in most of it, 90%.
But I want to ask you something, because you just before you go through that spill. No, because you mentioned how close we came to a potential constitutional convention, and I agree with you. What I want to ask you, let's say, for instance, the Republican Party did achieve that. What parts of the Constitution? We're speculating now, because neither one of us know, so it's not like we actually have
I don't have a crystal ball.
Right. But what do you think? What parts of the Constitution do you think the Republican Party would cherry pick if they had the ability?
If you want me to be honest,
I do.
Amendments 11 through 17.
Covering, 14 is in there. That's slavery.
Yeah, well, think about it. Well, let's be real about the 14th. No office member, no political person, no person can hold service to the United States government if they are a part of an insurrection.
Yeah.
Right? Look, I'm on.
11 through, wow. So you really...
Think about it. If they really wanted to press this, the 14th Amendment states that he would be ineligible.
Yeah.
If he's found guilty. Now, I'm not going to say he's...
Well, he don't need to do that. He got the right to pardon himself. He got the right to throw the case out.
Actually, hold on. In certain things, yeah, he has the right for federal pardoning. Okay?
Right.
But he has no right to state pardoning. So all those 34 counts are not on a federal level. They're in the state of New York.
Yeah. Well, right now, they don't have the ability to do that. No state charges that Alvin Bragg got in New York. They're still going nowhere. Wouldn't you assume that?
Well, it's all a smokescreen right now. We really don't know what's going on
behind
the scenes.
You really think they're going to punish Trump now that he's president?
I hope not. It would be very unprecedented.
Everything about Trump is unprecedented. He literally should be called Mr. Unprecedented.
That's a good Marvel character.
Yeah, everything about the guy is. The guy will be the subject of presidential research for the next 200 years. From impeachments to how he took office, you name it.
What was it? Grover Cleveland was the last one to lose presidency, then come back strong, and now Donald Trump. I think what we have here, though, is if you're convicted, right? I know you and I will agree that we as a nation are a nation of laws. you we're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, there we go. I like that. I like that add-on. We're supposed to be.
We're supposed to be.
Right.
And if you and I were to break the law for tax code, well, we're going to be in a federal. I'm not.
I don't even think you could fucking go to court and be found 10 times in contempt and not go to jail. I mean, the guy is. I don't. Call it whatever you want for the first word, but the second word is privilege. I don't know what kind of privilege it is, but the guy is privileged.
It's what we call too big to fail, too big to jail.
Never heard that term before, but damn, does it work. I got to move it on, buddy. Yeah, Mr. Unprecedented.
You brought me up. I've been watching you for about 4 or 5 years now, and it is good to hear your voice for the first time, and I thank you for your service. I thank you that you are honest with your opinion and that you're cordial with people and you don't point fingers and talk over them. It's very cool that you do that, bud, and I really appreciate you.
Much love. Thank you. My door's always open to you. Appreciate the accolade, by the way. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program, and I do appreciate that. As I said, we do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. You can go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. Critical of anyone in the comment section, the host. That's how free speech works. We always make it work like that. By the way, if you do enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, as I just stated, feel free to follow the program on YouTube, horizontal, YouTube, vertical, and of course, TikTok. You can follow it. Subscribe on YouTube, by the way, a subscription on YouTube, horizontal or vertical, and follow the program on TikTok. Looking in the comments, just want to say everybody working, one love. Thank you for the TikTok cap, Gabe. Got your boy looking good, covered up the bald head. Thank you for that. I do want to respond to a couple super chats before I move on with the program. Will G says the regular people will suffer while elites hide in their towers. I'm assuming you mean ivory towers, mansions, and bunkers when another depression comes. Probably true, depending on how strong the depression. Now, I'm not saying a depression is going to happen under Trump, but if a depression does happen, that's likely what's going to happen. But depending on how strong the depression is, if the people got to eat, they will tear that tower down to get in there. So it depends on how strong the depression. Remember, everybody was talking about purchasing firearms for the zombie apocalypse? That's what they mean, is that if the country fails, the zombies are represented by the poor seeking shelter and food, whereas the individuals who are armed, they've been prepped, they got their own little man caves, they got plenty of food, things in there, and the zombies who have nothing are scouring around looking for a way to survive, and that's why they have the firearms, so that you can't come into my dwelling and take all of the food and things I have. That's the zombie apocalypse you hear. Real quick, I do want to respond to another super chat, and hopefully under Trump we never see that. And Will G also said, yeah, I actually believe this. Elon Musk's net worth just went up about $30 billion just off the election. I believe that for the simple fact is he's probably going to get some huge government contracts via Trump. I mean, you may see Teslas on it. All of the federal vehicles could become Teslas, for instance. I'm just speculating, but I do believe Elon, his Starlink, his satellite, they were already using it to some degree. Elon is on a phone call with the Ukraine and shit like that. His net worth probably went up something significant like that in the last few days. I believe that. I do believe that, because Trump is one of the things I can say really good about Trump, which is why I said people are jumping on the Trump train, whether they are devoted MAGA or not, is because Trump rewards loyalty. He is someone where, you ever heard of the phrase flattery will get you everywhere? That actually applies very well to Trump. If you kiss the ring, so to speak, say good things about that guy, you've seen folks come on stage at a rally. I really like this guy. I knew there was some great, right after they said something complimentary about him. So if you are on the Trump train and you're publicly, you're out public about it, yeah, he will reward you. And Elon Musk is certainly, considering how, I think they said he put 145 mil into Trump's campaign. Trump is going to reward him significantly. Looking in the comments, didn't you guarantee a Kamala win? No, I thought Kamala Harris was going to win. I was wrong as fuck, but I did believe she was going to win. I didn't guarantee shit, though. I didn't guarantee. Ain't nothing guaranteed in life. I could die right on camera right now. Ain't shit guaranteed, but I appreciate the input. Going back to the box, I will go to Stick the Ruler. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? No, not yet. Good morning, Stick. Welcome to the program.
What's going on?
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing, I don't know how I'm doing yet. I want to see what happens in the next 100 days. We're waiting for Trump to come and take the stage. So what I'm asking is about pros and cons. Pros and cons of the Trump administration that we are expecting. We don't know yet because he's not in office. But I know you lean left, so I want you to give me some pros. Give me some good things you might be expecting if Trump gets elected. Or not elected, but once he's in the White House. He has already been elected.
You said some good things.
Good things. I'm going to make you work today. Let me push you on. What about the economy? You think he'll fix the economy?
I'm thinking, man. I mean, I'm a black man too. See, you forgot to add that.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of the cartoon. You kind of remind me of the cartoon where the guy pulls out a gun and said, he aims it at the guy and says, "Your money or your life," and the guy's like, I'm thinking, like your money or your life. I'm thinking.
No, it ain't. See, yeah, with this one, it ain't no. I mean, it's always my life. You feel me? So you can have it. But I mean, that's the kind of way I feel about America right now. You want it that bad, you can have it.
Wow.
You want to assign if you are melanated, a black man, Latino man, Asian, Indian, it doesn't matter. If you're not white and you voted for Trump, it is racial because they made it that way. They made it that way.
Give me some examples.
Recently,
Give me some examples.
Okay, the most recent one I can think about is I believe a Latino guy had his kids to the park or somewhere playing and had on a MAGA hat and just assumed because those people had on a MAGA hat that it was okay, but those people didn't want their kids playing with his.
Wow.
Because he was again, you not like us.
Wow.
They gave him that. They really did. They gave him that. And then you got TikTokers getting on saying, I really can't believe that this is what's going on. But no, you're blagger. This is what we've been telling you.
What did you call it? JPT Farms. Thank you for blagger?
Yeah. Yeah, they're blagger. So this is what you wanted. You said and the guy's like, I love y'all. This, that, I don't care. What?
Wow.
So yeah, because you don't have nowhere else to go now.
Are you telling me? Are you telling me Tim Scott voted against his own best interest?
He did. He very much did. He was. If he didn't vote for Kamala, he could have voted for Nikki Haley. He really could have. Yeah. He could have put his support behind Nikki Haley. It's not that I'm a misogynist. I just don't like Kamala. I like Nikki Haley a lot more. Plus, she helped me.
Yeah. But I gotta say that I disagree with you on this level. Tim Scott will benefit significantly by standing behind Trump through all of this. He might get a cabinet position. He'll be invited to any MAGA party there is. He might get business deals. Tim Scott's going to flourish because he's been riding on the Trump train from day one.
Tim Scott has solidified himself as a second-class citizen.
Damn. What makes you say that?
Because I just love you.
He did say that. He did get ridiculed from the black community for saying that.
Why did he sound like a goddamn Popeye's chicken commercial? Why do you keep coming back to Popeyes? Because I just love you. Get the hell out of here, man. That bullshit.
So,
yeah, I know.
Being an African American, well, but let me say this: you see a black guy out there wearing a MAGA hat, and you say he voted against his best interest. So the black guy responds to you, Stick, and asks you, "How the hell did I vote against my best interest?" How do you respond to that? What did I do voting for Trump, leading you to say I voted against my best interest? What say you?
Well, you can be rounded up just like anybody else can be rounded up.
Rounded up? Where you getting that talk from?
Yeah, well, he's talking about the mass deportation. He's been talking about it.
He's talking about wait. He's talking about mass deportation. He's not talking about black back to Africa. What are you talking about?
How do we know that?
You think he might do
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It always has to be translated somehow, some type of way. And then again, his supporters, the ones that voted for him, especially on the white T side, they're saying exactly what's been saying. I don't want your kids hanging with my kids. I don't need you around me. We just wanted your vote. We don't care about you. We just want your vote. Remember, that was the Trump motto. So again, now they got what they want. Now they're gonna show their ass. It is what it is. But my thing again, Tim, is I'm at the point where to everybody who voted in your best interest, brother included, I got a little brother included. When shit goes and hits the fan, don't knock on my door. Don't ask me for shit. Don't come say, you know what, I was wrong. I've been wanting to hear that before you vote.
I hate to say it because I know it's gonna make me sound like shit, at least to half my audience, but I kind of feel like you do, predominantly with Hispanics, because at the end of the day, the talk about Hispanics getting deported, I mean, you guys are being rapists and murder. Like, I'm the same way you are. Like, you voted for the party that's talking about getting rid of a ton of people that look like you, and just because you came here legally and you feel like you can't be part of this, if I'm gonna put emphasis on if something happened, I'm with you. Don't complain to me about that shit. It ain't like he didn't make it clear that he viewed a lot of folks coming from your part of the world as rapists and murderers and shit. Just because you came here legally, you think you don't look like the other people that So I do agree with you on that point.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have a lot of TikTok creators right now that are getting on and they're saying their piece. You got black men saying, you know, we ain't finna the ones that voted for Kamala, we ain't finna shop at your food stores no more. Yeah, we on boycott.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, because we give our money to everybody.
I'm being told that America's going to unite under Trump. A lot of my MAGA say this is going to bring America together. You sound like you're saying just the opposite.
No. Okay, so what's going on is this. What's going on is the Democratic leadership right now is doing what has always been done. Tradition. They're acting like they have some sense, right? But on the flip side, you see that with the way Biden is, you know, saying, hey, I'm going to turn over power. I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure this country is still together. The problem with that is, right now, Trump is going to be humble. He's going to be, because he's got what he wants. He's going to be all right.
But you said Trump is going to be humble. You said Trump is going to be humble?
Yeah. Right now, yeah. He's talked to Kamala because he won.
Yeah.
Because he won.
All right.
That's humbling. That's
all right.
humbling. But only because he won. If he didn't win, just like you told the other caller, man, it'd be flipped. But the only difference is we wouldn't get violent. Again, because we are normal. We do it normal.
Are you saying the Democrats with all of the can't identify a woman stuff, you saying we're on team normal?
We are team normal. But the only difference between what you just talked about is that ain't all of us.
True.
That's not all of us.
That is true. But that would have been what you're voting for, though. That would have been what you were voting for if you had voted the Democrats in.
And I understand that. But guess what? That's not hurting me. That's not hurting them. What is hurting them is weapons on the streets. That's hurting us. That's hurting everybody.
Well, that ain't going nowhere under Trump. In fact, you might start seeing motherfuckers driving down the street with legally owned tanks now. I mean, it's gonna go. Yeah. The Second Amendment ain't being infringed on at all now with Trump in office.
Well, let him tell it. He's got a magic wand like Gandalf the Grey, and he can just stop these wars that's going on. Now, it's been 24 hours.
He's not in power. Wait. He's not in power yet, though.
Whoa. No. Don't tell me that, Tim. I already know what you're finna say, but he's already said it. 24 hours after I'm declared the winner, I will go look it up.
I'd have to look it up. I'd look it up. All right, I don't want to listen. Trump can get the country back on track, but I don't want to portray him as Superman. I got to give him 24 hours in the White House.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but how about this? It's already in your box. I've already sent it to you. All you got to do is look at it. It's already been reported. It's already his audio. He been said this a long time ago. I would end these wars in 24 hours. And I'm not talking about while I'm in the White House. As soon as they declare me the winner, I'm going to have this over in 24 hours.
I'll look at it. I got to move it on stick. I really want to see that. Now you got me looking for something. I got to move it on, though. Appreciate it.
I sent it in your inbox. Check it.
All right. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate that. All right, moving on with the program. So, in other words, he's saying that Trump stated that all he needed to do was win the election, not actually be in the White House yet, just win the election, and he could end those wars in 24 hours. Now, I don't believe I don't even think Trump in the White House can end the war in 24 hours. But I will say this. This is where Trump gets the win. When the liberals like Kamala Harris says something and it's not true, she's tagged for lying, which is what you should do. If she says something that's not true, it's a lie. When Trump says something that's not true, it's exaggeration. And I think that's what will happen here is that, he's working on it. When he said, he could end it in 24, he was just exaggerating. That's what he does. He's actually working on it. He probably will end it, but 24 hours, you should have been able to read between the lines. He was exaggerating. That's where I give Trump the win, is that he gets judged on a far more favorable scale than other politicians. I mean, because he exaggerates and throws stuff out so much that people kind of just, he's flooded the zone with it, that people just let him get away. Well, he's just exaggerating, or you took it out of context. He didn't really mean it like that. And if you're Kamala or Biden or some other politician, and you're going up against somebody, and they're holding you accountable for your lies, and he's getting this exaggeration benefit, it is hard to win with that. It is going to be hard to win with that. I say that, with Trump, I know more about COVID than anyone. I know more about the wars on the ground than even the generals. I gotta wonder, back in the day, you having these locker room talk. This is a spoiler alert. This is locker room talk here. You're having this conversation with some chick or whatever about the size of your dick. I can only imagine what Trump used to say. How big is it? Well, shit, it's like a baby wrapped in a blanket, girl. You cannot handle this. I swear, it is bigly. I cannot imagine what he must have used to say, because the guy normally really, really exaggerates a lot. Anyway, going back to the box, we'll keep on. Somebody says stop. Let me continue the program on. I saw a comment that really had me cracking up. Kyra, does that say Kyra, the German Shepherd? Am I going to get barked at here? Well, showing his taxes better health care. He didn't show it. Did he show his taxes ever? Kyra, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey. So you kind of got a loud background. You in a restaurant or something?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay,
man.
we'll try to make it work.
There's a couple good things he's going to do.
Sure.
Well, gas will be lower than $2.
Wait, lower than $2?
Yeah, rent's going to drop. Electric bill's going to drop. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it.
So you kind of reminds me of the old 90s George Michael song, because you got to have faith. So you just have faith that gas is going to be under $1, under $2 a gallon under Trump.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, shit, he said something. He said he was going to drain the swamp. That didn't happen.
Well, he made the swamp.
Yeah. Okay. So you're being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you have any genuine things you think will go well under Trump? That's a long pause.
Not that I can think of.
So you think his administration? So it sounds like you. Let me know if I'm correct here. But based on your statement so far, it sounds like you believe his administration is going to be a disaster of sorts.
Was it the first one?
Not according to his supporters. They believe that Biden was the disaster.
Well, Biden got us out of the disaster.
Biden couldn't get reelected, though.
Who, Biden?
Yeah, Biden was not going to win.
I think it was definitely the age factor for Biden, and I think he should have realized it was one and done.
Yeah. But it sounds like you believe that Biden did a good job.
Yeah.
Why do so many Americans disagree with you? Why do
it'll go down in the history books as Biden did an excellent job.
Why do so many Americans disagree with you?
Because all they look at is pricing, and they think the president has everything to do with like gas prices and prices in the stores. The president don't have. So when it comes down to the economy, what percentage of that is on the president?
Well, it depends on deals and things he makes. Like, for instance, if Trump imposes this tariff, that's something he is going to do that's going to directly affect the economy. I think I got to disagree with you. The president does have something to do with the economy.
They do, but it's only about 10%.
That 10, if Trump imposes 1,000% tariffs on goods coming in this country, you think that's only going to affect 10% of the economy?
Well, no, but who has to go through? Who does he have to go through to get that done?
Other people that favor him in power.
Correct.
Right.
So he is responsible for that, but the other people letting it go through and passing everything that he wants to, it's.
Yeah, but that's how the presidency works, Kyra.
But it goes through a lot more.
Everything the president does has to go through other people generally, with the exception of executive actions. Most of the things they do have to go through other people.
Correct. And the other people need to they need to be held accountable as well if they make the wrong decisions.
Well, based on that, we look at Biden as sending too much money to the Ukraine. But based on what you're saying, because Congress is the one that allocated the funding, you said we should blame it on Congress and not on Biden.
I mean, Congress controls the purse, right?
Yeah, but nobody. I get your point. You're technically correct, but nobody thinks like that. They're going to blame it on the presidency that was in place when it happened.
Because it's easier to just blame one person.
That's the American way.
Yeah.
So you expect nothing? You expect nothing good at all to happen when Trump's in office?
I don't think so, man.
That bad? Wow.
But with the Ukraine, you got to think of it as what's better. We spend 2 to 3% of our homeland, like our defense budget, or we put boots on the ground.
We don't want to put boots on the ground.
Correct. So it's better to just spend 2 to 3% of our defense budget. Correct.
Yeah. Well, according to Trump, he could end the entire conflict in 24 hours.
But he's already made a false promise.
What if he ends it in 6 months?
He didn't keep that promise. He's had 72. He's had like 96 hours now.
He don't have any power. Wait, he doesn't. You're holding the guy accountable for being a president-elect. He doesn't have any power right now.
That's what he said he would get done, though. He promised within 24 hours of being elected.
Well, they say he was just exaggerating.
Isn't he always exaggerating?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the guy is the exaggerator in chief to some degree. I get that. But nothing good at all, huh? Not one thing.
I'm sure there may be something, because he did do with the animal abuse, animal cruelty.
There you go. Now we're getting somewhere. What about securing the border? Is that not a good thing?
I mean, wasn't the border more secure under Biden than Trump?
Who believes that?
If you look at the numbers. So, okay. So, if you look at, do you know anything about Operation Stone Garden?
No.
Okay. So, Operation Stone Garden is a program that's funded by the government.
Okay.
That helps local and state authorities patrol the border. So it pays for gas, hotel stays if they got to stay out, overtime,
Yeah, wait. Are we really having a discussion that under Biden the border was more secure than Trump? That's what you're trying to get me to believe? My caller must have had a call or something here. Are you there? Okay, I don't know what's going on. All right, you got he broke up or something. His point, I really wanted him to elaborate on that, but apparently he had a call or something, and then the signal went left or something. But he was trying to suggest that under Biden, the border for the last 4 years has been more secure than it was during the Trump's term. I don't know how he was coming to that conclusion. I really wanted to hear it. I don't know. I think even the liberal Americans, even the Democrats, were favoring Trump on border security over Biden. So I really want to hear what he said. I see in the comments, Ravens fan is saying it is secure more under Biden than Trump. Really? Yeah, I'd have to get somebody to elaborate on that. I don't see that. Let me go back to the box. And I lean left on some social issues, but I don't see under Trump. Under Biden, the border's been more secure than Trump. And you'd have to make that one make sense to me. I'm going to ask that you folks tap the screen, particularly on TikTok. We got almost 500 of you in here, a little bit more on YouTube, but tap the screen, get the likes up. We're going to try to get around 50,000. We can make that happen if you guys show the program some love. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Hawkins, good my whole time of reference is Jack because I'm doing these programs everywhere. Anthony, good afternoon.
What's up?
Hey, not much at all. So I had a caller on just before you that stated he couldn't come up with anything anything positive to be expected of Trump's administration. What say you?
Well, we've talked a lot. I get more bans from your live than ever, so I'm going to keep it calm.
Well, so, I get it. I can only apologize, but free speech is how I run it, and TikTok can be challenging to that.
I understand. That's all good.
Use synonyms.
My biggest thing is the health factor. Now, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Trump, JD, RFK, Tucker, Elon. I voted for the whole thing. I want all of it. And my biggest thing is the health in America. I'm sick of the chemicals and the poisoning in our food that's banned in all those countries.
But Anthony, hold on, I'll let you continue, buddy. Let's start off with the RFK, because right now you're tackling it from the RFK perspective about not having bad poisons in foods. Trump is for smaller government. He's not for big federal oversight. He's talking about getting rid of three-letter organizations. For RFK's plan to take, how are you going to do that under a Trump administration?
I agree with that too. So if you think about how many positions are in our government that are unnecessary, that you've got all these warriors, not enough chiefs. You've got nobody directing anybody. You're paying all this money to these employees that just sit there on their ass and do nothing. And we elect these people into office to do a specific job. And then they go and hire 200 assistants to do the job that they were elected to do. That's fucking money that is spent unlawfully. I understand you need a secretary and an assistant, because I'm pretty sure it's a heavy load. But we're paying all this money. Hell, the first 4 to 6 months, they're taking our tax dollars to redecorate their damn offices. Yeah. Fuck that. You got a desk, a computer, a chair. You don't need drapes. You don't need paint. Get your ass to work and type up your own speeches.
I don't need drapes.
Research.
You don't need drapes. What the fuck? What are you gonna give them? Are you gonna give them a wooden chair to sit on? You don't need drapes. Damn. Who would want the job?
Listen. I promise you, the last person that was elected for that job already has a $10,000 cushy-ass chair, probably 20,000 gold flake drapes. The paint's gold-plated. Like, it's unnecessary spending.
I got
and we pay for all that.
Yeah.
We pay for all that.
But
we pay for these people's pensions.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you're pissing off. I see Eric Ian on YouTube has said every time I watch one of these political things, I am shocked how little people actually know about anything. It's a shame. So I don't know if you pissing them off or if I am. But what I want to say is this. What I want to say is this: if Trump is talking about deregulation and getting rid of three-letter organizations, which you clearly favor, how are we going to get what RFK is promising, which is government oversight on what ingredients goes in all of our products that we eat and things like that? You need more government for that, not less.
No, I don't think so, because I don't know how many people are employed under the FDA, and I'm sure it's tens of thousands of people. And all these tens of thousands of people have, for one, different opinions, and all these tens of thousands of people are getting paid by different people to agree with what they're putting in their food or what this company's putting. Everybody has a different opinion because there's money involved. Now, I would agree with, hey, you cannot persuade these people by paying for their campaign or paying for all this extra bullshit that you're giving them money to do, because they're just making regulations for your company. And that's wrong. No, these people should want to be in this office and want to do the right thing, because they have children, they have family, but also that they can afford to go out and buy organic foods, and they can afford to pay a personal chef to cook them 100% clean food. We can't afford that.
To me, it sounds like...
I mean, I live 600...
To me, it sounds like Trump's plan of shrinking government, and as you talk about, you can't have drapes and all of this stuff. It sounds like you're trying to make government do more with less. Why would you want the job if they take out all the damn perks of it?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible, and you would get rid of a lot of people that are there just to get the paycheck. If you didn't allow all the bureaucracy in there, paying them $1 million on the side, that if you made that shit illegal, then you would get rid of all these people that are just coming in for a paycheck, and you would get the people in there that want to help our country, because our country should be first. Our people should be first. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, I don't care what you are. Our people are our people.
Why would the best and brightest? Why would the best and brightest want to be a congressman or a senator when they can make a heap more money in the private sector if you're promising to take all of the perks and benefits out of government office? You're talking about I can't even have fucking drapes. Why would I want to do this when I can go be the head of the city's transit authority or something and make a lot more money? You're making it so that you're not going to get the best and brightest for those jobs.
Because you should not benefit. We elect these people to run this country and to run it hopefully faithfully, where we can trust these people. We can't trust these people because of all the poison, not just in the foods, not just in the air, not just our media, all of it's poisoned. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't even grow potatoes and carrots in my garden anymore. The regulation is stupid. All these chemicals that they want you to put in a gardener for the farmers is nuts. I mean, corn is not corn anymore. It's genetically modified, and it's disgusting. All this regulation should stop. All these paid people getting paid to tell us what's good for us. No, we know what's good for us.
Is that not capitalism? It sounds like you're trying to promote something that's not capitalism. Before you answer that, I see in the comments before you answer that, I see in the comments, Alan said, because I was talking about why would government officials take these jobs if all the perks are removed? Alan says because people actually care. I want to respond by saying this. Where were you when folks were pushing for Obamacare and universal health care, and people were saying, well, if the doctors can't charge whatever they want, it'll stifle innovation and nobody will... What happened to people who actually would care? Because that was absent when we were talking about universal health care. But now all of a sudden, when it comes to getting rid of politicians, well, they'll actually care. What happened to doctors that might actually care? I don't know, though. But let me ask you this, Anthony. What qualifies RFK to have the oversight to do this stuff? He doesn't have a medical background. What gives RFK the qualifications to be over this stuff?
Okay, but who needs a medical background to see that there's toxins everywhere? Who needs a medical background to see that these heads of the FDA, Fauci, all these people are getting paid to say what the companies want them to say? Who needs a doctorate to know that this is not right?
Should you at least?
It is crimes against humanity.
Should you at least know chemistry to know what chemicals you're claiming is toxic? And I see in the comments, I asked what qualifies RFK. Mudwater said because he's white. Hold on a second. Will G says Eastern European refugees will be Trump's key. So trying to replace the immigration market with Eastern Europeans not coming from shithole countries. I get your point, Will G. But so Anthony, you're saying, okay, so you're saying you don't need a doctorate.
But here's the whole problem. Okay, you want to bring race into it. That's the whole problem. Race has nothing to do with it. We are people. We are the human race, and we're all being poisoned equally. I mean, just look to the sky. Look to the water. Look to the red dyes, the yellow dyes. We're all being poisoned equally. I don't care if we get rid of all government and start from scratch.
You want anarchy?
It's fend for yourself.
You promoting anarchy?
Let's do it.
Anarchy? Really?
Let's do it. One time. Let's do it for the one time.
Oh my God.
Like, but it's crazy because we've been demonized for the last 8-9 years. We've been demonized because we wanted better. We wanted cleaner foods. We wanted cleaner water. We wanted to stop losing all of our money to this government. We paid 40% out of our checks. Like I bring $600 a week home and I make $24 an hour. Like they absolutely steal every penny of mine. And where does it go? Why is my roads not paved? Why is my food not better? Why are my water treatment plants not doing so well? Like, I know all this money's going to other countries when we have issues here. And I don't get, like I said, I was never a Trump supporter because Trump's an elitist billionaire. I don't care about Trump. I care about the whole fact that we need America first. We are not the world's police. I know we're a superpower and we have the power to police the world, but we can't even take care of our own country.
I don't
but
see
we're
it.
taking care of other people's countries.
I don't see it.
Okay, nobody. Well, you don't.
Let me tell you why. We are the world's richest nation, and we're constantly bitching about how broke we are. Whoa, Kyra. Wow, thank you very much. I haven't seen that ever. Appreciate that. That definitely caught my attention. Thank you for your support. What I was going to say is we are the world's wealthiest nation, and we're always bitching about how we're broke. That's what I'm saying. And now we're talking about America first. So we're the world's wealthiest nation, and we're not going to help anybody else. We're going to focus only on America first. I don't get it. I mean, if we think we're broke and they're not taking care of our country, try going to some other nations and seeing how they live. We live better than everybody else.
And trust and believe. I'm first to say I know that we live amazingly compared to these other countries.
Right.
Women have no rights in other countries. None. You can't speak in other countries. There's no education. There's no food. Trust me, I get it 1,000%. But when we pay all of our hard-earned money for our roads and our infrastructure to be the best, because our money is supposed to go, our taxes are supposed to go for our interest first, they should go to our interest first. And when there is left, I'm sure
there won't be any left. There won't be any left. I'll tell you this. No, they won't. They'll never. If our tax dollars, hold on. If our tax dollars go to if we live under a mindset where our tax dollars go to our interest first, We'll never help anybody out for the rest of eternity, because there will always be something else in this country an American feels the money should go to. I mean, you can always find, no matter how great America is, there will always be something or someone else in this country that needs a little bit of help. There will always be an excuse to say you can't send any money overseas because we still got somebody in America that needs it.
And I only agree to that to about a 2% rate, because I believe if you just calculate the money in the last 4 years that was sent everywhere else, you could have done a clean sweep, paved every road. You could have fixed up our infrastructure. You could have cleaned our food system up, water system. There would have been money left.
Then why didn't that? Hold on. Wait. Let's take your example. With all the money that was sent overseas under the Biden administration and all of this stuff in the border and all, under Trump, the border was supposedly under control. In fact, it was under control under Obama as well. And under both Obama and under Trump, there was no Ukraine war. There was not as much money going overseas. And yet all of the stuff you're saying that could have been done still was not done. There were still Americans struggling. America's uninsured. They didn't have health care. There was still homelessness and all of that. Even though none of the issues you're talking about sending money overseas was taking place. So why is that?
I'm not sure. I mean, I got into politics over the last 4 years. I have not done my research to that. I can't. I'm not backtracking. I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know.
Fair enough. I got to move it on. I'll explain it on the other side, but I'll certainly explain it on the other side. But right. Anthony, thank you for coming back through. Right. Appreciate it.
Love you, brother. All right, have a good weekend.
Thank you for that. By the way, same. All right, moving on with the program. I'll respond to why that was not happening under Obama and under Trump, even though money was not going on overseas and the border was far more secure. I'll explain that in a second. Will G, Trump will let Putin do what he wants, creating refugees in Eastern Europe. Trump will then let them in as he deports Latinos, more white people. Wow. I'm just going to tackle that by asking this question by way of yes or no in the comments. This might be controversial, but you know it's all about free speech here. Simple typing of yes or no. How many folks believe that Trump wants more whites in America, wants America to become more white? Simple answer, yes or no in that. How many folks believe that Trump has some kind of backdoor aim to make America become more white, make America white again? Maya, not MAGA, Maya. A lot of folks actually agree with that. Wow. We have debt to China with interest that's where our taxes go. We're talking about we do have a huge deficit with China, but wow, there's a lot of folks that now on my YouTube side of the aisle, there's more no's, and I do believe my MAGA side, my YouTube horizontal is where I have more MAGA. YouTube vertical, I have not been able to, because the YouTube vertical audience, you guys are kind of new. I haven't been able to ascertain what side you lean on, but my YouTube vertical is more MAGA. He's a racist, says Edgar S. If I had you on, I'd want you to elaborate on why you're saying that. Your liberals believe that because they have been brainwashed, says Jeremy. There's plenty of brainwashing on both sides. I hear your point, but you always hear what the media is telling. January 6th, in my opinion, was a whole lot of brainwashing. If you're going to blame Ray Epps, for instance, if it's that easy to brainwash folks, that Ray Epps could make them do it, then there's brainwashing on both sides. Brainwashed by what, says none of yours. I don't know. I'd have to get them to elaborate on it. In regards to before I go to the next caller, and tap the screen. We're nowhere near 50. Can you guys get me up to 50,000 on the likes on TikTok? Fiddy, Fiddy. Tap the screen, get the likes up. Get your boy up to 50,000. 50,000. On the 50,000 likes would be kind of you on TikTok. Smash that like button on YouTube. Take us up over 100. YouTube horizontal. I appreciate you folks. It's a much smaller audience as the algorithm gets used to YouTube horizontal. The reason why you still had plenty of struggling Americans under Trump and under Obama, even though there was nowhere near as much money going overseas. There was no Russia-Ukrainian war under Trump or Obama to send money to. And the border was allegedly far more secure under Trump, if you ask him. And they called Obama the deporter in chief. He was separating families and doing everything. So why wasn't Americans doing much better in terms of receiving assistance if those things weren't happening like they were under Biden? Simple. We are a pull yourself up by your bootstraps country. We don't give a damn about the poor. If the Ukraine is somehow able to push Russia back, maintain their sovereignty, get their import-export businesses back up, and return all of the money from the weapons and all of that was sent there, if they were to return all of the finances back to America that we have given to help them, do you really think your life would change any? Do you really think the government would come and help you out or do anything for you at all? They weren't doing it before the money went over there. Fact is, there is no appetite for helping the poor in America. I often bring up Obamacare. When there was a push to come up with universal health care for this country, there was no money going to the Ukraine, the border was fairly secure, and a large portion of America was not in favor of doing it, even though the overwhelming majority of folks that would benefit from Obamacare were Americans, and we didn't want to do it. So the idea that we're going to suddenly start wanting to help out Americans, there's no evidence of that. I don't care if it's food stamps, I don't care if it's housing. Anytime you start talking about helping out Americans, the response is always the same. Who's going to pay for it? Because I don't want to do it. Every American, no matter if they are dirt poor or excessively wealthy, wants their taxes to be reduced. Where do you think the money comes from to help downtrodden Americans? Comes out of your tax donations. If everybody don't want to pay shit in taxes, there's not going to be anything for struggling Americans, no matter if we're sending money overseas or not. So the whole idea that if they don't do all these other things for the Ukraine, if they don't do it, you know what would happen if we stop sending money overseas and we stop letting folks in this country? People would ask for a tax cut. Since we're not helping them people out, let me pay less in taxes. I don't want you to keep that tax money being collected so you can help out struggling Americans. No, I want that money back. So it's just not going to happen. Regardless if the border gets repaired and Ukraine war ends or not, they're not going to help out Americans. We are a capitalist country. Pull yourself up by your damn bootstraps. Nobody's looking to help out struggling Americans. That's how this country's been. Looking in the comments, let me explain the border. Kyra, I got other viewers on. I'll come back to you. Real briefly. You wanted to, I don't know what just happened. Briefly, what are you suggesting?
Yep. So Operation Stone Garden, it's a program that's funded by the government that gives money to local and state authorities to help patrol the border. They cannot make arrests, but they can call Border Patrol to that area if they see something. So it paid for their overtime, their gas to move along the border, and hotels if they had to stay out.
Okay.
Well, they investigated they found that the funds were not properly used in 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
They corrected it, and that's why you saw the spike under the Trump administration in 2019. So therefore, you didn't know what was coming through between the ports of entry in 17 and 18.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, under Trump, you might get correct usage of money to protect the border, but there's going to be some other government entity that there's going to be waste, something that he favors that he might not, like for instance, that whole RFK thing where he gives RFK control. I don't think in that area, you probably would have as much government oversight. He's going to make sure the money that's being spent to secure the border is being done accurately. But in other areas where he's favoring the person that's over it, that might be where the waste moves to.
Yeah, but more specific though for the border specifically though is he's the only president to declare an emergency at the border, and where he declared an emergency there was a border wall.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get the border wall. We'll see what happens. I don't, in my opinion, most of the folks that come here illegally, They don't go for a run through the Rio Grande. They actually come through ports of entry, whether they're hidden in the back of a pickup or in the dashboard of a car or smuggled in. But most of them are not coming through methods where the wall would stop them. They're coming through ports of entry, or they'll get a visa and overstay it. So I don't think the wall, I'm not against the wall. Let me make that clear. The wall will stop some, but I don't think the majority of folks that come here and stay are coming here in methods that the wall will stop them. I got to move it on, but I'll give you the last word to clear that up.
I'm good.
All right. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. So looking in the comments, you still need something to fall on. We're all not secure. I don't quite get that. Missing children from the border. That ain't going to end. That's not going to end. I believe they've stated that the 300,000 missing children, I'm about to say children, missing children theory has been debunked. I don't have enough details on it to elaborate on how. I think some of the children have come in and they're with their families and things like that, but I do believe that the 300,000 missing children theory is not being stated as accurately as it is. All right, going back to the box, Jeremy, one of my subscribers. Good morning, Jeremy. 320, what does that say? 320,000 completely gone. Jeremy.
Yes.
Okay. So I saw you holding. What brought you up?
Well, first off, I just think that a lot of people are giving out a lot of misinformation. By the way, on a separate note, did you check out that documentary I told you to check out?
Not yet. I've been on the move ever since we talked, which is why I'm not in my local. I'm not even in the same town right now. So I've been on the move ever since we talked. So I'll have to get to it.
Well, when you get the chance to look up American Mirage. But anyway, a lot of people have.
Where can that be seen at? Is it online? Where can you see that at?
It's on YouTube. It's free.
American Mirage. All right. What is the plot of that again?
So, citizen journalist Lauren Southern makes this documentary about the border, and specifically about the lies that a lot of migrants are told about how they need to get to the United States in order to make their lives better. And it turns out that it's kind of a mirage; it's a lie. She compares it to the lie of El Dorado,
no,
the city of gold.
Is she like hearing I don't know who this woman is, but hearing a documentary from her, is it like hearing information from Dinesh D'Souza?
I would say she's a lot more reasonable than Dinesh D'Souza. Okay. She's a lot more dissidents.
All right. Because Dinesh D'Souza got pardoned by Trump. He's on the Trump train. Yeah, he's not an unbiased source.
Yeah, she is conservative like Dinesh, but she has a lot more dissident views than Dinesh. And she's a lot more reasonable, and she actually takes a very sympathetic view on migrants.
What I would likely do before I watch her documentaries, I'm going to take the woman you just mentioned, and I'm going to go on social media and see what kind of quotes and things I can find for her, and then I'd watch the documentary. But that's kind of how I do things on this, because if she's saying wild shit, for instance, rapists and murderers, for instance, then when I hear her documentary, I'm going to view her differently. But I will take a look at it. But what brought you up now?
So one of the things that people don't realize is that the FDA is an organization that gets a lot of its money from private sources, which is a complete conflict of interest. One of these private sources is that oftentimes when people try to do patents for like some of their products, like they're in the food industry, the FDA gets a certain percentage of the money, which is a complete conflict of interest. And that's one of the things that RFK is going to go after. Either he's going to specifically make it so that way the FDA has to only get its money from the government itself, which it makes perfect sense. You don't want Nestle and Coca-Cola able to say, "Hey, come on, we're good customers, right? Like, why you gotta regulate us like this? Like, that's your entire."
But here's my issue.
That would be like Tim, like let's say you're a huge distributor of cars, like your Toyota, and all of a sudden, and JD Power decide, I'm JD Power, and I decide, and I'm going to give you a bunch of awards that you haven't earned in your industry because we're buddies. You know what I mean? That would be pretty corrupt.
You're not going to get that out of government. I think he may temporarily suspend it in that one particular field, but I mean, Trump's going to clearly do that with the likes of Elon Musk and many people that supported him. That's going to be buddy. I mean, he's going to give. We all know Elon Musk, being a huge businessman, is going to get a lot of government contracts because he endorsed Trump and donated so much to his campaign. So while RFK may do it in that area, then the fraud may happen in the Elon Musk area because Elon Musk is going to get a lot of government contracts that are probably going to be no bid contracts simply because he rode on the Trump train.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised about that, but I wouldn't and say that that's necessarily all that corrupts because he's not going to allow like government agencies to have money that directly comes from the private industry outside of contracting. Like,
well, if you get a no bid contract, or if you get a contract where you already know going in, I got this, anybody else that bid has no chance, that's corruption. And I'm sure Elon Musk is going to enjoy some of that.
I don't know about that.
You gotta be kidding me. $145 million to Trump's campaign, and he ain't gonna do a damn thing for him. You really trying to get me to believe that?
I think that they're going to clean up the system. Like remember he said at the Department of Government of government and access. Yeah, I think that's going to be a real thing. And yes, I know it spells Doge. And honestly, I would laugh so hard if they managed to successfully make Shiba Inu the mascot of that department. That would have been hilarious.
You just spun that shit so much, I need one of them pills you take before going on a cruise. There is no way in hell, that Trump is not going to reward the shit out of Elon Musk. We all know that. Now, I'm not saying that Biden wouldn't do the same damn thing or, Kamala Harris wouldn't do it as well. But the fact that you're trying to indicate that might not happen is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Trump is going to reward the hell out of that dude. I would do it. I personally would do it. If he put 145 mil behind me, I would do it. So you trying to spin that is crazy.
Well, the thing is, I think that it would be too easy for him to get impeached for something like that. He's already tried to bring him into
you got a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. You got to control the Senate, probably control the Congress. Who the fuck is going to impeach him?
Rhinos and a lot of Democrats that are really angry about what happened.
You making this shit up as you go along.
Well, sometimes it comes back.
Ain't nobody going to... He is literally impeachable, at least for the first 2 years. He is not going to be impeached. There's no way in hell they're going to impeach him.
Yeah, but again, with all the felonies that he's supposedly that he's been convicted of, and which all of which are extremely dubious at best, and all the other scrutiny that he's gotten and how hated he's been, he's going to be pretty close to the chest with this one. He's not going to be all willy nilly about how he gives out about giving out favors to anybody. Okay,
I would just simply say, look at what Clarence Thomas, look at how he's living now, what he's driving right now. And when Clarence Thomas announces his retirement, go check out his garage. See if
you don't believe Supreme Court justices have always been paid very, very well?
Well, I think Clarence Thomas is taking the cake. I think he's been paid. And Clarence Thomas is doing well, not from what he's getting paid. It's from the kickbacks and all the shit under the table that he's getting.
I don't know about that. Man. But here's something else I will say. I think that this is kind of a controversial opinion. I'm sorry to say it, but I think, first off, the war in Ukraine already looks like it's going to be ending pretty soon.
The what?
But even if it didn't.
What? Wait. Why do you think the war in Ukraine is going to be ending? I mean, and how is it going to end?
Because Zelensky was already coming to the table with Trump the second he got elected. Russia is going to be doing something very similar next. I guarantee you. You watch.
Why do you think
he's going to be coming down there and saying like, "Hey, how can we make this work?"
Why do you think Zelensky's already coming to the table with Trump? Let's start there.
I had a call recently with him.
Right. Why do you think that's happening?
Because I think that Zelensky knows that he can't use us as his endless gravy train anymore. But at the same time, I think Trump also will get Putin to come to the table because I think that he'll say, hey, you can't just invade other countries.
Why? Why would Putin or Zelensky, why would they listen to Trump? If Trump is talking about we're going to do things on an America first basis, we're going to get out of overseas involvement, we're going to focus on Americans only, we're going to stop sending money overseas. What incentive do either one of them have to listen to Trump?
Because Trump will heavily sanction the hell, or maybe even just flat out put a full-on embargo on Russia. And Russia needs us. They are a huge importer of chicken. They're a huge importer of a lot of different agricultural products because if you haven't noticed, they're pretty far north, and it's kind of hard to grow things when you're pretty far
Well,
north.
shit, I'm a black man. I know what it means to enjoy huge importation of chicken. Thank God for those damn little animals.
That was good. I like that one. That was good.
Them little motherfuckers are delicious. But let me just say this. Many folks believe that Trump is going to side with Putin and leave the Ukraine up to their own devices. He's going to stop assisting them in any way, shape, or form, and kind of let the Russians have their way with them. You don't buy that.
I don't buy that though. The end conclusion. I do believe he will stop giving aid to Ukraine, but I don't think he's just gonna flat out leave them to Russia's as whims. I think he'll make it very clear to Russia, hey, we can do things to you, right back. So you better just back off right now. There's going to be peace talks, and I think Russia's going to get something out of it. I think Zelensky's going to get something out of it. I think both of them are going to walk away. I don't know about happy, but they're going to walk away satisfied with the terms.
I gotta say, I totally disagree with you.
He wrote an entire book called The Art of the Deal, so he's good at making deals.
Yeah, he does have that book, but he couldn't even make an art of a deal enough to get John McCain to come there with his signature legislation. He's not good at dealing when it comes to Washington, D.C. He was great as a businessman, maybe, but as a politician, he has not been good at bringing forces together. This time, however, he's in a more favorable position because he doesn't have to make deals with the left. He can just run them over because he has all the controls. But when it comes down to having to bring both parties together and get the country to work in unison, he's not very good at that.
He'll figure it out. And besides, I think this is also another controversial opinion I have. I don't think we owe Eastern Ukraine a thing. Sorry, I don't think we owe Eastern Europe a thing. Okay. I think that for too long we've kind of just been the world's bank account, and I get why we've also kind of bullied a lot of countries in the past. So I'm not saying we're angels, but I think it's about time that we both enforce boundaries, but also stop bullying people around the world. I think that it's time that we become kind of like that quiet man in the restaurant that just minds his own business rather than the bullshit.
You're not going to remain a superpower. You're not going to remain the wealthiest country on earth by doing that, though. If we start backing out and we stop bullying people, and we let people, make their own decisions and we don't interfere in them, some of them are going to make bad decisions and start conquering other countries. America has been kind of doing that behind the scenes and preventing others from doing the same, which is why we're on top. But if we start backing off and leaving countries to their own devices, there are going to be plenty of countries that are stepping up to take our former role. We won't be a superpower doing that.
Well, you do know that superpowers like China, they're only superpower because of us. I mean, they don't even allow for our cars to be sold in their country. There are 100% tariffs on them. And a lot of other countries severely depend on us. If we were just to say, no, we're going to do manufacturing in the United States, we're going to lower our income tax, we're going to lower all these other taxes, we're going to get rid of the Federal Reserve because that is one of the biggest scams we've ever created. It's not even a government organization, it's a private bank. If we're going to do all of that stuff, we're gonna have jobs. We're gonna have a strong economy. I would be okay being number 3 in the world if it meant that we didn't constantly break to the whims of other superpowers and then bully the little guys. That seems like a pretty weak thing. And I don't even necessarily think we have to be number 3. I think look at our biggest trading partner, Canada. Canada manages to be pretty well off despite not having a whole lot of built up infrastructure, and they're also a huge advantage to us because of the fact that they have so much natural resources and we have so much. And if we bring manufacturing, we can give them a lot more sophisticated supplies. Look at a lot of our allies.
I don't know. I can't imagine having cheerleaders on my team yelling, "We're number 3." That don't sound good. I gotta move it on, Jeremy. I don't know about that one. We're number 3. But as always, man, I do appreciate you coming up.
Love you, brother. See you around.
Sentiments, exactly. Appreciate it. Look at in the comments. Yeah, if it grows from the soil or from natural means, like mushrooms, they're okay. I'm okay with that. Don't fuck around with too many of the mushrooms. Some of them ain't good to eat. If it grows from the soil. And that's the take on marijuana, by the way. Didn't Florida? Because we had a lot of other votes, in addition to the presidency and Senate and House. I think they had a measure in Florida to make recreational marijuana legal, and they pushed it down. I think they made it legal medicinally, but in Florida it's still illegal by a way of vote. They voted down legalizing marijuana for recreational purposes. All them aging folks there, you know, you want to have a joint after working for 60 hard years somewhere. Florida is so far to the right. I don't get it. I just, to me, one of the biggest injustices of this country over the last, I don't know how many decades, is locking people up for a plant that grows in the ground. And now, if a person is selling it, you know, mass producing and, you know, we're not producing, but, you know, processing large amounts of it and selling it, I could see some issues there because it becomes a fight over money and territory, and a lot of people get killed. But just somebody who wants to smoke a joint every now and then, so many folks have been put in the system for that. To me, it's insane. It's probably one of the most harmless things you could do. And I have never tried marijuana in my whole fucking life. But just based on the analysis I see of it, how many people have died from marijuana usage? You know, had an overdose. I smoked so much OD. You just don't hear it. When you factor in how many people lose their lives every year from legalized tobacco products, legalized alcohol products, they literally had marijuana at one point as a top scheduled narcotic in the same category as heroin and coke. That never made sense to me. Other than the government's not making money off of it, so let's make it illegal and put these draconian punishments on it. Never made sense to me. That would be one thing if I ever got the kind of power that you would get as the nation's commander-in-chief. I would try my best to exonerate everybody that has been charged for, you know, possession. I don't care if you was in the system 50 years ago. I don't care if you're dead. Remove anything off the record that has anything to do with that. That would be my take on that. Looking in the comments, Trump didn't even write the art of the deal. Is that true? Because my last guest brought up Trump's art of the deal. Will G says Trump didn't even write that shit. Is that true? Because oftentimes when you're writing a book, you know, writing a book with Simon and Schuster or some of these companies, they will sit you down and ask you questions, and oftentimes they can write a book based. I mean, I think Mike Tyson has a book out. You think Mike Tyson wrote that shit? So I get that sometimes they don't always write it, but it's still in the image or likeliness of the person. Trump didn't write his. I don't know. I'm not gonna say because I don't know on that one. That is funny though. You say Trump did not write his own book, and in the comments, this is why I say Trump gets the win on some things. Panda Sniper says, yeah, who cares? He's going around the country bragging about this book and how it shows how intelligent he is at making deals. Well, who cares if he didn't write it? That's why I'm talking about Trump gets the win, because he can lie and folks will give him a pass on it. You didn't write. Hillary Clinton, or better yet, Kamala Harris just gave a concession speech the other day. People were saying she plagiarized her concession speech from Hillary Clinton. I didn't hear none of that. Well, who cares? You know, no. You know, you got a book with your name on it. If you didn't write it, it's worth mentioning. Let me go back to the box. That's the art of American society. Truth doesn't matter. That's a shame, Clem. That really is a shame. Can we get to 65,000 likes, or am I asking too much? Tap the screen on TikTok. Smash that like button on YouTube. Get us up to about 130. By the way, I always give this spiel before I go back to the box. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You don't have to agree with the host. You don't have to agree with anybody in the damn comment section. This is about free speech, left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. If you favor that type of dialogue, uncensored, follow the program on TikTok. TikTok's over here. And a subscription on YouTube. The same on YouTube horizontal. I want to be able to pay attention to you guys more, but I got to let YouTube decide the algorithm so I know who the hell I'm speaking with. For my YouTube horizontal viewers, the newest audience. Going to Drew. Now, Drew, I'm surprised you're still here. I know you were very upset with the results of the election.
Now I'm just very mad because they are very dumb.
Oh.
Like, it is ridiculous. I cannot wait to watch the prices go up. Like now, I'm just in it for the petty.
So you believe Trump will ruin the economy as opposed to what people expect of
Oh
him?
yeah.
How so?
Oh yeah.
How so?
Tariffs don't work. Tariffs cause inflation.
But
Everything's going to cost more. Companies are already getting ready to pay more for things. So,
if the tariffs
let
are
them be broke. No, this is what they need. They need to be broke. They need to be drugged through the coals to see exactly what he is. I can't wait.
if the tariff before I continue with the tariffs, I do see your comment. Will G says Florida needed a 60% threshold for weed to be amended and only got 55%, but way of Republicans gerrymandering. By the way, and that's the same thing with the there was another law they tried to pass where they made it so you got to have a 60% threshold, which is ridiculous. But if the tariffs are,
Florida ain't trying to help nobody.
you think Florida's that bad, huh?
We used to have a saying: "Go on vacation, come back on probation."
I've heard that. Florida's criminal justice system is notoriously bad. But the
One
tariffs.
seed used to be a felony.
You said what?
One seed used to be a felony.
One marijuana seed used to be a felony in Florida. You could get that in your shoe walking outside.
Well, now you can't find one anywhere.
Damn. I'm gonna let that go. So, what about if the tariffs are not imposed? If Trump does not impose the tariffs, could he save the economy?
I don't know. I've been looking at who he's. Look, he's going to destroy the atmosphere anyway, and the planet. Elon Musk is going to get to run free with his AI, which is great for me because I have good stock in the AI product. So, but it's really bad for the planet because in 1 year AI has increased the emissions on the Earth 30%. And by the time Elon's done with it, it's going to be bad.
Explain it. What type of artificial intelligence are you talking about that's going to do this? What is he doing?
AI takes Google search takes 0.008 kilowatts of power.
Oh,
AI
I see what you're
takes
saying.
2.46 kilowatts of power.
I have heard that.
Big
Okay,
difference.
I have heard
That's
that.
why Microsoft is buying a nuclear reactor at 3 Mile Island.
But think of it this way.
Schwartz wrote that art of the deal.
Think of it
That's the
this way.
ghostwriter.
But think of it this way. If Elon, his AI requires all this power, all this wattage you're talking about, perhaps that might encourage more Americans to create alternative forms of energy. It could lead to that too, though, could it not?
I don't know. They better figure out something because there were rolling blackouts in parts of the world where another solar flare hit us.
Well, you gotta say
5 or 6 in the last few months. We are at Solar Maximus. We are going to be there for 2 years. The sun has already spit 5. That's why you can see the northern lights everywhere.
What do you mean by solar maximus?
Where the sun's at its full frontal view to the earth.
Okay. And what does that
It's
get?
when we can get the most radiation and the most sunspots. And there's some correlation to magnetic storms and hurricanes. We had solar flares both days. We had hurricanes.
I don't get the point you're making here.
It's just where we are rotated and where the sun is. The sun changes poles every 11 years. So the sun is facing us directly at its full face.
Yeah, but
and it'll be that way for 2 years.
But what is the reference to of what we're talking about today? I'm still lost.
It would take me 30 minutes to explain.
Okay.
I'll send you a video.
All right. The point I'm making, though, is even though you're suggesting that AI increases the wattage and the draw, I'm saying that if we come up with more, really, in my opinion, just simply putting a solar panel on more American roofs would produce it. I mean, think about how many American roofs, even in areas where they get a lot of sun, have.
For that.
Huh?
But you got to remember, Trump people were just anti-electric car until Elon joined the team. I mean, like they changed their mind like the wind. Like,
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. But the point I don't disagree with that. But the point I was making is there are so many American roofs and building structures that do not have solar panels on them. If you put a solar panel on 40% of American roofs, I think our energy issues would go away. I mean, that would produce so much more energy.
No.
Explain.
We can produce the power, but we need a new grid. That grid's old, rickety, and like I told you before, Mylar balloon shut off the water in New Orleans, and people had to boil it because it ran. The Mylar balloon hit the power lines, ran back sent a short to the pumps, and the pump wasn't cleaning the water. That's how bad. I mean, our grid is not in great shape.
That's doable, though. I mean, that's something you know. Most towns, I mean, make it so that each town had its own grid or whatever the case may be. I think this is doable, but you need more. To me, solar panels is probably the best choice because you don't have moving parts. Solar panels have like a 25-year lifespan or something like that. I believe if you,
it's not going away either,
and it's not going away.
I'm all for that, and I always have been. Problem is like places like Alabama cap what you can make. They won't pay you for the extra energy.
Well, you got to get the bureaucracy out of it, though. That's not in regards to producing energy. That's government bureaucracy because they're anti-solar panel.
Well, there's also a lot of corruptions in the contractors because for a while there were these programs where they could put solar panels on your roof. These people would come in, not do a good job, do it wrong, end up the homeowners cost more than it would have cost them without.
Well, you might need. Go ahead.
So I mean, I hope they figure it out because that would be great.
Yeah.
I think we need to do something. Solar the new
Hold on. Hang on. I always point out funny comments, and this one I thought is funny. Jerry Lee in the comments said, the sun can go away anytime. Well, if the sun goes away, I don't think we have to worry about the lack of energy. I think it's game over at that point. He said, don't focus on this. At the end of the day, why are you focusing on the sun? It can go away anytime.
According to NASA and Stephen Hawking's, the planet's going to be gone in 2600 anyway. We're going to turn it into a ball of fire. That's what Stephen Hawking's and NASA said.
2600?
They independently came to that conclusion. So why are we having all these kids anyway? We only got a few generations left.
That's like 200 years or something, man. That's pretty damn close.
I do want to know what the Heritage Foundation is going to do on this country's 250-year anniversary. Are they going to destroy the Constitution?
What do you mean?
The country's going to be 250 years old. The Heritage Foundation seemed very interested in that fact.
Well, according to Trump, he has nothing to do with the Heritage Foundation. None of that Project 2025 stuff. He's claiming it, that was just being wrongfully attributed to him. You don't buy
One of the
it.
Heritage Foundation guys was caught on a hot mic talking about, oh, well, Trump's, a little pro-abortion, but we're abortion, what do they call it?
Abolitionists.
Abolitionists.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means the woman can pass away, too.
Wait. Say that again? The woman can...
No exceptions at all. Abolitionists means they have no exceptions.
Yeah.
Not even for the woman's life.
Wow. Why did women vote for Trump, if that's the case? Why do so many
Beats
women...
the fuck out of me. Internal misogyny, lack of education. I don't know. When you find out, will you tell me? Because I am very confused.
Well, talking to you makes me feel like, you ever see the movie with Samuel Jackson and Matthew McConaughey, A Time to Kill, and he's talking to him from behind bars, and I'm talking to you, and I'm looking at you like Samuel Jackson, but you're the enemy, because white women are the ones that voted for Trump. You're the one that did this.
And it wasn't just us, it was the other category too. I want to know what category is, because it showed white female, black female, Asian females, Pacific Islander females, and other. And other had the highest number of votes for Trump. Who are those women?
Is it Muslims and you said Asian had their own category?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what other would be. Real quick, hang on. MAGA saying not to wish for the downfall of the nation now that they won, but they've been the orchestrators of others since orchestrators of chaos since the Tea Party and birtherism. So he's saying that MAGA is now calling for unity, but normally before they won, they were always calling for division. Do you see any validity in that?
Oh yeah, because they were calling us demons, and the enemy of the enemy within, and all kind of bullshit. And now they want to come over to liberal TikTok and kumbaya, and they're pissed off because we quit having them on our panels. We're like, nope, we're done.
Well, let me ask you about that. You brought up a good point. You mentioned the enemy within. Now, Trump talked about that before getting elected. Now that he's elected, do you believe he will carry that out using the National Guard to go after Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and some of those? Do you think he actually is going to do that?
I don't know about that, but I do know that he plans that mass deportation.
Well, yeah. Well, I think unfortunately a lot of Americans want that. If Trump implements a mass deportation, I don't think a lot of Americans would be unhappy. They called for it. It ain't like he didn't tell you ahead of time.
Jimmy and Johnny have been raised too soft for the last 2 generations. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to do manual labor. They're going to have a stroke when there's nobody to do those jobs. Who's going to handle the industry for the hospitality?
That remains to be seen. So let me ask you the question I've been asking a lot of folks, and I got folks in the comments who are accusing you of having TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So what I want to ask you is, give me something good, something positive you expect from the Trump administration coming up.
For the other half of the country to wake the hell up.
Damn, that's it.
When they start paying those high-ass prices, I want them to remember this. I want them to remember this is what they voted for. They can't blame Democrats at all. They got a whole Republican-ass Congress, which I'm kind of glad about now, because there won't be, it's the Democrats' fault. No. This party's on y'all. Y'all have it.
Wow.
You wanted it, y'all have it. And when you run this country into the ground again, because if we look at history, we look at the fact that Ronald Reagan ran the country in the ground. Bill Clinton picked it back up. We look at the fact that George W. Bush ran this country in the ground and Obama picked it back up. Trump ran it down a little bit, and C-19 came along, and Biden picked it back up again. So Republicans going to run it back in the ground. Even Donald Trump himself said Democrats do the economy better.
So what you're basically saying is that under Trump, we're going to get and thank you for that, JPT Farms, and I forgot who else is saying.
Me.
Huh?
That was mine.
All right, go ahead on, girl. So what you're basically saying is we can expect chaos and a failed presidency under Trump.
I do expect extremely high prices. And those wars, they say we're just going to end instantly after Trump's got in office. It's been 4 days. I guarantee you it ain't going to be before he gets in office, and I guarantee you it's not going to be after he gets in office. Because you cannot tell other countries what to do and them just do it. Trump is not the strong man they picture. I just can't see the man that wears a diaper standing up there telling anybody what
Why
to do.
does everybody say that? That man ain't wearing no diaper. Why does everybody?
He is. Adam Kinzinger made a video about how bad it stunk and everything. He does.
Trump wears
The Europeans do way before we do. Yeah.
Oh my God! So we heard of Tampon Tim. So you're saying Diaper Don now?
Well, you didn't see Trump supporters wearing diapers for a while? Yeah.
You sure this ain't just hatred of the man?
No, I promise. I'll send you videos.
Oh my God! I'm almost scared to open them motherfuckers up. I gotta move on, Andy.
See ya.
All right, good talk. Will G says Trump derangement syndrome is loving how Trump gave top to a microphone. He's talking about fellatio. Trump going down on a microphone. That's TDS. God, Will, you don't play around. You don't fuck around. Looking in the comments right quick, and I see Matthew said my last caller hated Trump. She certainly was no fan of him. I will say that. I think she got a bad dose of LSD. What makes you think she was high? Why do Americans vote against their best interests? Says funny, friendly, fabulous. Love the name. Why do Americans vote against their best interests? That remains to be seen. I won't say only, but I'll say, in my opinion, I do wonder why the Hispanics voted for Trump. I get that it's all about securing the border, but do the Hispanics that voted for Trump really believe that those folks come over as rapists and murderers? I'd have to sit down and really talk to a few of them, because to me that is baffling. For the simple fact is, once we have this mass deportation of Hispanics back to these other countries, even if you are a legal immigrant, came here the right way, or if you were born in America and you're of Hispanic descent, at the very least, you're going to know some people that were affected by that. I mean, you're going to know people that are dealing with that. And my guess is the pictures are not going to be pretty. You're going to know people that are married to them, or somebody's losing their mom or dad because they're here illegally, but the rest of them, I don't think the outcome of that's going to be good. But there's a large portion of America that wanted that. So who am I to say anything adverse. I mean, a lot of America, it's like I say all the time on the program. If Trump gets in there, one of the things, he is in there, wait a minute, 30-year fight, I'm still in last week's conversation, but now that Trump is in there, one of the things I can say for certain, you can't say he didn't tell you what he was going to do. Now, a lot of folks are, well, he was joking about this. He didn't mean that. He took that out of context. The man was clear as day on the type of America he wants to implement. So if some draconian shit happens, you got to look at a few folks and tell them, well, you thought that was a joke, huh? He didn't laugh when he said it, so why did you think it was a joke? We'll see. We'll see. Going back to the economy, because I do believe Trump might be favorable to the economy. That was in my head. Kenny, good afternoon. I think we can safely say now for some parts of the country. Welcome to the program. My whole Latino family voted for Trump. There's a woman, hang on a second, Dennis, I actually brought her. Hold on, Dennis. Have any of you seen the woman on YouTube that's being interviewed? And she is a Trump supporter. She's donning Trump gear, got a MAGA hat on. And they ask her about Trump's policies, and she's celebrating the impending mass deportation. And they go, well, don't you have some family members? She's like, yeah, I got a lot of family members, cousins and stuff that are here illegally. And they were like, well, how long they been here? Well, some been here for as long as 20 or 30 years. And you're happy they're getting deported? She's like, yeah, they can always go and come back the legal way, which in my opinion is not going to probably be an option. But she was happy to hear that possibly even members of her family are going to likely be deported. And then the guy asked her, he's like, do they still talk to you knowing this? And she was like, no, they stopped talking to me years ago when they knew I voted for Trump. And she was Hispanic and happy to hear that her own family members might get deported. Dennis, good afternoon.
What's going on? This didn't count.
Oh, okay, different account. Appreciate it. All right, good to hear you back. So, we're talking about pros and cons of the Trump administration. I'm gonna ask you because I know you lean left. Give me some positives you believe America will incur now that Trump is president.
What I'll start with is because of my own race and culture, I believe that we as a group, as a demographic in this country, I think we'll solidify around each other. We'll come back to each other. See, what a lot of people don't understand about now that we get a chance to look at the numbers, African Americans, both men or women, did not come out for Trump.
True.
There's this thing on social media because you see all of these creators, these black men with these red hats talking about they won and they knew it all along. Those are a small group, and yes, 20% of black men is a larger group than before. But as a whole, in the black community, we voted 12% for Trump, which is the same that we did for Biden.
Yeah, he didn't do very well with blacks, but as I always said in the program, we represent the smallest demographic among Hispanics and whites, and you certainly can win a national election without the black vote. But Lisa Cow in the comments immediately responded and said, "Why is it always about race, Jesus?" So I'm going to ask you, let's step away from African American culture. What else, do you see any other positives as opposed to just blacks coming together now that they're not happy with Trump? Any other positives of Trump getting elected?
Well, it depends. Well, I can tell you a positive. And in the last couple of days, my portfolio has risen quite handily, and it's become a big part of it is because of this honeymoon period. Because there are certain industries that are up right now, and one of my biggest performers is Tesla. And Tesla obviously is ran and owned by Elon Musk.
Right.
And I have a prediction that Elon Musk under Trump will become the first trillionaire in history.
Damn.
He now has a seat at the table in control of the entire American economy, $27 trillion a year. He will personally get to dictate what is cut, what is approved in how we run our company. And Trump will sit back and he will go golfing because he doesn't understand that stuff. But he will allow the richest man in the world to control the winners and losers in this country.
The first trillionaire. Fuck.
Yes. That's my prediction.
I don't want to hear shit about Americans struggling and money going to Ukraine and you got a fucking trillionaire in your country and homeless people in the same fucking city. I don't want to. I mean, when you really put that in perspective, well, Americans are struggling because money is going to the Ukraine. How the hell did this one dude become a trillionaire? I mean, like.
And they're trying to put him on this pedestal to make him seem like he's some type of Tony Stark, some type of rich billionaire that's doing stuff for good. He is not. He's one of the richest men in the world, because the richest man in the world, he don't show up on Forbes list. But I'm just saying, he's one of the richest men ever in the history of this country. And his ultimate goal in life has to be to become the man in charge of the wealthiest country in the world that controls all of the levers around the world. It's got to be. That's why he said, if I lose this race, I'm fucked. That's why he said it, because Elon Musk knew if he gets the reins over a person that he said before is not a very intelligent man, he gets to manipulate him and tell him, go away, you do your thing, I got this. And Elon Musk has already come out and told us he's going to cut around $2 trillion out of the annual budget of America. And we can all look at the budget and determine ourselves who are going to be the winners and losers, because he's not going to touch defense because he's got too many contracts with America on defense. He's never going to touch the defense budget.
Let me ask you something, though, because when you think about folks suggesting that we needed a president like Trump because he was a successful businessman, is it not a good thing to have Elon Musk on his side? I mean, you got to get Elon one thing credit for. He is a successful businessman. So is it, and by the way, I think Jeff Bezos might be on deck to soon join Trump as well, the second richest man in the world. I think Jeff Bezos is probably going to come out as a Trump supporter soon. But is that not a good thing to have these folks on his side?
Well, not necessarily, because they're not doing it because they believe in what he's talking about. They're doing it for their own agenda. Jeff Bezos hates Donald Trump. But 2 weeks before the election, when he did whatever his polling and he saw the writing on the wall, what did he say? He told all of his media sources, we're not going to endorse. He is doing what all rich people know that they can do around Trump, is to capitulate to him, act like they have conceded his greatness. They get in his inner circle and they manipulate things for themselves. These rich folks they know Donald Trump is stupid. They know.
You really think the man, wait, you really think the man is stupid?
The guy who wrote the book for him, Mr. Schwartz, has been on TV numerous times and said that the guy could not keep his concentration for more than 2 minutes at a time. He said the book took him an unusually long time to write because Trump can't concentrate. He's got like ADSD or whatever it is. He is not a very intelligent man.
I don't know. I listen. The guy.
He's had people from all the way from the beginning, since Larry Cohn, the guy that his father gave him to mentor him, all the way up until Alan Weisselberg, who have controlled and who have been the ones who have been in charge of all of his business dealings.
So you're just saying that Trump is just not very intelligent. He's just ultra privileged, and all of the mechanisms of life have always been on his side.
They have, even when he gets sued and is unable to ever run a charity or 501(c)(3) corp himself because he cheated charities, people will still come out and be like, yeah, he's a pretty good guy. He made a fake school and had thousands of people paying to learn his art of the deal, and he ripped every last one of them off.
There's got to be somebody out there that favors the Trump University. Real quick now, I know you're a veteran. Will G is making a point, and I'm kind of concerned about this. He says, to all my fellow vets, I'm afraid you have 2 to 6 months to save up all those VA checks. Now he has P 2025 847. I'm not, or he's talking about Project 2025 Agenda 47. He's saying more than likely will gut the Veterans Administration. Do you see any validity to that? That Project 2025 or Agenda 47 will gut the VA?
That was my next thing before we got off track about what Elon Musk is going to do. I said he's not going to touch defense. The only way you could get $2 trillion.
Okay, hang on a second. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have you explain that in detail. I gotta go get me some more to drink, but I want water. This is water. I don't drink alcohol. This is water. I want you to explain that in detail while I'm pouring. I can hear you, by the way, so I want you to explain it, because how is, or better yet, what is the plan, either through Agenda 47 or Project 2025, to gut the VA? I want to hear you give that spiel. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it starts out as we've already determined that he's not going to affect the DOD budget, because he has too many multi-billion-dollar contracts involved. And the American people won't allow him to cut the military budget. But the next thing on the list, the highest per capita spending we do, is on social programs. And those social programs are Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the VA. It's all of these programs that are designed to help the either the military or the downtrodden, the less fortunate, the old people, who didn't save enough money to retire, and they depend on this $1,800 check to live. Those are the things he's going to have to cut to be able to get even close to $2 trillion. And there are already people in his atmosphere talking about stuff that we know about, raising the Social Security age.
Wow.
About the VA benefits. They're talking about reconsolidating them, because what happened in the past, and a lot of people don't know and probably don't care, is that there used to be this thing when you retired from the military, and then you also were designated as a disabled veteran. You had to choose either one or the other. You had to choose your retirement pay, or you could choose the disability payment. You couldn't do them both. It was called concurrent. So now, if you're a disabled veteran and you are retired from the military, you get both checks. You get a disability check and you get a military retirement check.
Okay.
They want to combine those again so that you don't get both. And so I will be hurt by that. And a lot of veterans who have planned their lives around these payments from our government.
What about grandfathering them in, though, so that maybe folks like yourself or others that are enjoying those benefits, we leave them alone, but in the future, no one else can qualify for it?
Well, I mean, that may be a plan, but what that will do is that will hurt the long-term income of those people. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But if he's going to do that, he's going to have to affect these budgets. And he already came out and said, because he's a smart man, he's already came out and said, yeah, the American people is, it's going to be, it's going to be hard sledding for a while, but it'll benefit you guys in the long run, because he knows that they about to put a hurting on America to accomplish what they're talking about.
But so many veterans voted for Trump. How are you and Will G, how are you folks seeing this? And they didn't.
Because people are voting on, as much as they said people were voting on feelings. They had a feel good about Trump. They felt like, you can ask them to this day and they'll be like, I don't know how he's going to do it, but I know
I had somebody actually say that on the program today, that Trump is going to, and he said, I don't know, but somebody actually said that. And because I said, it reminds me of the George Michael song, you got to have faith to faith. Somebody literally said what you just said. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I feel like he's going to.
It's a bunch of people that were at those polls literally pulling the lever to trust me, bro.
Wow.
Trust me, bro. He's going to fix everything. I'm talking about, if you, one day on your thing, come out when you're in your home studio and on your board, do a list of all of the promises that he made, and you should start checking them off, whether they are done or
That's
not
a good
done.
point. I had planned on doing something like that, such as, well, first ending the war in 24 hours would be number one. But he's talking about $2 gas again. You're right. He has made so many promises that would be worthy of doing.
No taxes on tips. No taxes on Social Security after he cut that. But anyway, no taxes. He's talking about getting rid of the federal income tax. He's talking about getting rid of the federal bank. Bro, he's talking about so much to people.
Should I even put on the board giving police immunity from prosecution? Do we even want to find out about that?
That should be way high on the top for me and you. That should be one of the top things. We got to look. And I don't like to be like that. And I know that your last caller, the female, I forgot what's her name.
Andy.
Yeah, Andy. I know she's frustrated, and she's reacting to kind of the same way I did in the beginning. Keep saying like, I don't know why these people did all of this stuff, but now I'm in the position now where I'm not mad anymore. I want them to have all four branches of government. I want them to have the Supreme Court.
Oh no, I know what you're about to say. I know where you're going with this.
I want them to have the presidency. I want to have it all, because when shit don't get done, I don't want to hear nothing about the deep state, about all of these people who've been stopping him from doing what he want to do. Get it done. Get it all done. And just like that lady you're talking about, I seen her talking about, yes, I like it to Trump. I like it. My family, I don't care. They must go out. They must go out and they must come back in the right way. Yes, all of my cousins, if I knew her address, I would send ICE to her house and say she's been aiding and abetting illegal immigrants for 20 years, and she knew it, and she never said a word.
Wow, you raise an interesting point. Now I know you're angry towards her, but that is something that I do believe you're going to have a lot of Hispanics being quote unquote swatted. You know what the term swatted mean? Where they lie and say something's going on in your house. I mean, if you got a house where there's 10 immigrants living in, somebody is really anti-illegal immigrant, I can see where somebody may now, under the Trump administration, call ICE and have them go to that house. I know somebody got to be in there illegally, so I'm just going to lie and have ICE and Homeland Security go to their house.
For them to think at this point, after all that has been said, all of the rhetoric, that somehow they are going to stand there and watch other Hispanics get yanked out of their homes and put in camps, that they're somehow going to be the ones to say, hey, not me. I'm the good one. I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah, that's good. And just like she said about her family, they can go out and come the legal way. They ain't gonna let your family back in, because they're gonna put on their criminal history. They entered the country illegally, so they got a crime on their record now. They're not gonna be able to come back in, because Trump even stated, if you enter America illegally the first time and you get deported, 10 years in prison, no chance for parole if you get caught doing it again. So they're not coming back in. Once they get kicked out, you got that on your criminal history that you entered the country illegally. At the best, if you are allowed to come in, there's going to be this 5-10 year delay or something like that. Like, your family is kind of gone when they get kicked out. They're not coming back, as you might indicate. And by the way, even coming legally, that takes years. It could take a decade to come in this country legally. But then, Cal, you know what I got to do. Appreciate it.
One more quick thing.
Make it happen.
This is just to my former Latino brothers and sisters that decided to go Trump. We have gone through this social experiment as Black people, when the government says that they're going to get rid of the scourge that is us. And what they did was they created the 95 crime bill, and yes, we can say Biden was a part of that too. And us as Black people, we agree with it, because we said, yes, crime is out of control.
That's a great point.
We do need to do something about this. It's not in the law, it's in the implementation. And if you give all of these police officers the power to project their feelings about you, it ain't gonna end well for y'all. And we got a social experiment. We seen what happened.
Yeah. That's a great point. I'll elaborate on that. That's a great point. But then, Cal, thank you for coming through.
Yep.
All right. And he makes a great point, because that whole Biden's 94, 95 crime bill, and which, put a lot of African Americans in behind bars. We can say the same thing about what Kamala Harris is doing in California. The way he orated it makes good sense because a lot of African Americans were being told this will bring down crime in your neighborhood. If we impose these street strike laws and we get tough on crime, as my last caller was alluding to, so African Americans actually supported something that historically was not in their best interest. And he is tying that to what Hispanics are doing now, suggesting that the African Americans give you a clear-cut data sample of how this is not going to work. I don't totally disagree with him on that at all. That it may, years later, you may look back at, let's say Marco Rubio's running for president, 2036 or 2040 sometime. Mr. Java, yeah, appreciate the hat mustache. 2036, 2040, Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz is still around and running for the nation's highest office. And folks bring up, you voted for Trump's, largest deportation in history back in 2024. And it might by that time be viewed just like the 94 crime bill, where you hurt a lot of innocent people. What he is saying does have some relevance in it. We don't know yet, but it could be that way. I'm just speculating, but it could be that way. I think what he said makes a lot of sense. Cutting edge. Tell him why almost 50% of Hollywood helped her. Usher is part of Diddy's list. I don't really go too deep into the P. Diddy shit, but I do agree that most of Hollywood supported Kamala Harris. I mean, when you look at what's going on in the Republican Party versus what's going on in the Liberal Party, it makes sense why Hollywood would support the left as opposed to the right. I mean, right now, the right is going more, pro-Christian. They're talking about, not shoving LGBT issues down people's throats. They're somewhat against teaching some of the annals of slavery things. Hollywood wants to be free. They want, whether we're talking about homosexuality and LGBT issues, whether we're talking about making movies about slavery or putting interracial couples on TV, Hollywood doesn't like to be put into a Christian bubble. The right wants America to be more of a traditional country. The left are progressives, the right are traditionalists. The right wants the country to operate similar to how the founding fathers intended. The left wants the country to keep progressing. If new people with new ideas come along, then we should entertain what they want. The right is like, no, keep it in the traditional standpoint. So Hollywood's not going to probably go right ever, as long as that's the mindset, because they want to be able to progress and move in different ways. If we had a traditional America, an America that leans further to the right, there's probably a lot of television programs that would not be allowed to be on TV. They would probably, because they don't fit Christian values. A lot of things that are on TV, sexuality and things, they would probably not want that on TV. Just think about how television was in its infancy when we did have a right-wing America. You had couples on television sleeping in separate beds, and it was a totally different time. Now American audiences want more realism. I don't want to see what you think America should be like. I want to see what America is like. And the right is not necessarily in favor of that a lot. MAGA does not read like Trump doesn't read or write. Will, you're telling me MAGA does not read? I don't know. You think Elon Musk doesn't read? Somebody put a message in there and retracted it, but thank you for the super chat. I can't respond to what I cannot see. The Karens of immigration. Yeah, you're going to have those, Will. You're going to have those. When I say the Karens of immigration, I'm talking about swatting. Companies where a lot of Mexicans, now let's not say Mexicans at this point. Immigrants come from a lot of countries south of the border. In fact, Mexico is probably the largest representation, but there's a lot of Venezuelans, Guatemalans, Panamanians, Nicaraguans. But yeah, if you see a lot of them in a factory, maybe several of them working for a hotel, and you pissed off with the service you got at the hotel or something like that, I could see people calling immigration, calling ICE. I've heard that they're going to start deputizing some of the regular beat police and traditional police to get involved in the game. Because if you're going to round up millions of people, you're going to need more than the manpower and personnel that ICE and Homeland Security have. You need more people. I don't know how big you want to blow that organization up, but you're going to need a lot more people. And you're going to need Homeland Security and ICE probably in every corner of America. So it wouldn't surprise me if local sheriffs and local cops got in on the mix to get, to grab all these people. And I do agree with what Will G is saying. You're going to have Karens out there, people that just start reporting immigrants in hopes that maybe they'll catch one. There's 20 Hispanics at the park right now with their kids playing on the. I bet you one or two of them are illegal. So let me get on the phone and call the cops. I don't know how far it'll go, but you will have that. I do believe you'll have that. Will G says Trump is Hollywood himself. Yeah, he is Hollywood. He has a star on a celebrity role. He wished and kept calling stars to perform for him. The right is really delusional. I will agree with that to some degree. Trump's an outsider. He's not part of the elite. Yeah, he actually is. Yeah, I get your point, Will. He actually is, but some kind of way he's been able to convince people that he's an outsider. Like, you're going to all the parties. You're at I'd say William Clinton, but Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's wedding. You're hanging around Oprah. You're hanging around. He is part of that group, but he's been able to convince people he's not. So shout out to him for doing that. I don't know how he was able to do it, but people believe that Trump's an outsider, and to me, it does not make sense on that level. Going back to the box, there was a viewer I wanted to bring up that was saying that he had been waiting, but apparently he's not there. We'll continue on with Jimmy Boy. Good afternoon, Jimmy Boy. The Hispanics, they definitely set themselves up to be targeted. Yeah, Richard, I can foresee a whole lot of Hispanic voters saying that they got voter remorse. That ain't go that whole largest deportation in history. It's gonna have some innocent victims in it. I don't see how you could do it without it. I mean, like I said, there's gonna be Karens and people taking grudges out by calling them. I've always had an issue with my neighbor next door. Fuck it, I'm gonna call ICE on them. I mean, there's gonna be innocent victims of that. Guaranteed that's gonna happen. You realize a lot of these people were actually seeking asylum. That's totally different from just crossing the border to get here. True, Paul, but essentially the belief is that asylum seekers became the new illegal immigrants. In other words, now that Biden made it so I can just walk up to anybody and request asylum, I don't have to waste time or risk life and limb running across the desert when I can just walk up to somebody, tell them I want to request asylum, and they'll give me a court date, and I just never show up to it. So the illegal immigration under Biden probably dropped substantially. It's probably far less people that came in this country illegally under Biden because you didn't have to. You could just go up and request asylum and then just don't show up for the court date. That's when you become an illegal, and it's when you don't show up for the court date. But because millions of them came in, court date may be 3, 4, 5 years out. There's no need to run across the desert. Just go in through the legal way and tell them you want to request asylum. They're letting people in. And that is the law, says Rep. Yeah, it is the law. But MAGA does not recognize the asylum seekers. Even though coming in and requesting asylum is officially coming in the legal way. MAGA does not recognize the asylum seekers. To MAGA, you are an illegal immigrant if you requested asylum, such as the Haitian migrants in Springfield. MAGA views those as illegal immigrants. Even though the Republican mayor of Springfield was like, these people are here legally. The Republican governor of Ohio said they're here legally. MAGA doesn't recognize that. Let me go back to the box. The law was changed under the Biden administration. And because MAGA and Trump supporters and Trump himself do not like the change to the law, they don't recognize that law as legal. They view anybody who came seeking asylum as an illegal immigrant. Let me go back to the box. Kenny, whoever there was with those leaves, thank you very much for the support. Kenny, good afternoon. Hey, what's up? So what do you think? We got Trump now for certain. Give me some. You see some positive outlook on the future?
Well, only positive outlook. Well, I mean, there's a few. I mean, one, there's gonna be some. If you make money, if you make good money, there's gonna be some tax cuts for you.
Well, he's promising even folks who get tips. He's promising tax cuts on. He's promising no tax on tips. I mean, he's promising
and overtime too, right? He said overtime, right?
Yeah.
See, if that's like the one caller before, like Dimkow said,
write that shit down.
Write it down and then start checking it off. And all my Trump supporters in my friends list, I'm like, hey, what is he doing about this? What's the progress on this? Like, didn't he say you guys are gonna have this done? And here's the
pushback on this. I can hear my beloved Trump senator already on this. Yeah, he didn't give tax on, he didn't forgive or overlook tax on tips or on overtime, but he's still 100 times better than Biden was, and he's still way better than what. I mean, they're going to be willing to overlook a few things because at the end of the day, Biden and Kamala were such a threat to America that, yeah, he didn't meet all his promises, but he's still eons better than them. That's how that's going to go.
But the other positive thing would be the immigration. I do believe that Trump is going to get rid of. He's going to close that border up. Because if you remember when he was in office last time, it was people hiding in churches because they was afraid that the ISIS was coming out of them.
It's gonna be. Now he has far more power to actually make that a reality.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna. It looks like he's gonna have the House and the Senate. So like they said, he has no excuse now. Or he can literally do whatever he wants. Everything that he said, he can't say, well, the Democrats are holding us up. We shouldn't have any more budget holdouts. Like every budget should get passed and we just go on. We shouldn't have any government shutdowns. There should be, in this Trump era, there should be no government shutdowns if he has the House and Senate.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how this work out. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I mean, you got to take some good out of the bad. I mean,
well, speaking of good, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you had the facts of life. So what are some of the goods you anticipate from Trump being president? I'm doing terrible on this.
This whole transgender, like you have to, where people are like, I'm a he or I want to be a she, you got to refer to me as a miss.
Right.
Those all that's going away.
Yeah.
In Trump era, he already said that if you're only going to be born a man or a woman on your birth certificate. That's the only way you're going to be recognized. So now we don't have them getting offended. Now, when you see somebody that looks like a man, you say, sir, and it's actually a woman that's going by Mrs. It's all confusing. I seen I think it's on TikTok actually, where there was a woman that became a man that transitioned to a man in the appearance, and he or she got married to a woman that was whatever it was backwards as hell. The man was pregnant because he was a she.
So what you're basically saying is the good is he gonna basically make the transgender community go away.
Oh, they definitely going away. I mean, it wasn't enough. That's one thing they didn't categorize in the vote, like how many voted.
And you see that as a good thing to get rid of the transgender community.
Yeah, and sometimes like my wife, she works in healthcare, and I mean, one time it stressed her out so bad because she worked in the OBGYN, and she would see the name over the phone, but they were like, I'm a sir. Well, you calling to get your vagina checked, so I'm calling you a she. Why would I say Mr. Such and Such? Your gynecologist appointment is going to be on Monday. Like, so she had to have. She works for the state of Ohio, and she had to have a whole train. The department had to have training on how to refer to transgender people.
So it's safe to say, based on what you're saying, the Democratic Party really screwed up by endorsing and operating on behalf of the transgender community. That was a bad thing then. Because even you who lean left, you're not even a fan of them.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think the Democrat was trying to please everybody to get their votes. They could have easily flipped some Republicans if they wanted to, if they was like, all right, this is where we draw the line at.
All right, well,
But
you
they
did give me an answer because a lot of folks couldn't give me anything good about Trump's president. So you did give me one. I don't know how many Democrats agree with you, but you did give me one. You got any others positives that you expect now that Trump's president?
I mean, if he's able to pull off this no tax on overtime, we'll see. That'll be a positive.
You think he can do it?
If he has both parties, I mean, if he has the House and the Senate, that should be a piece of cake for him to do.
No, but they got to make that money up from somewhere, Kenny. I mean,
he's gonna. But the other thing is, he's gonna cut stuff like EPA. Don't need him. That's what he says. Like in anything environmental.
You don't think we need the EPA? Are you for real?
I know we need it.
Oh,
he don't. Trump doesn't believe in needing the EPA. Those you know, when Obama left, they had these I guess they like the surveyors that they go out for the United States and they go into these other countries and they try to check and see what pandemics are coming his way.
right.
You know, Trump, when he was in office last time, he let that part of the department goes. He's not anything that doesn't make sense to him, he's cutting it. So like EPA, he doesn't believe in like the whole global warming thing. Anything to do with that, he's cutting that. That's where he's gonna take the money from.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, so there's gonna be a lot of unhappy campers no matter what.
Oh, and then he got RFK talking about gutting the FDA. So
your example of good don't sound like shit to me. That sounds bad.
It don't sound like good. I mean, the good is that they're gonna, if he's not gonna tax overtime. But I'm like, where is he gonna get this money from? I mean, they depend on that. Just like the whole thing where he wants to cut income tax. That money got to be made up somewhere.
Yeah, and I see somebody said taking fluoride out of the water. Yeah, RFK has promoted so many conspiracies. How the hell did he get that job?
He got that job because he decided to take his name off some ballots. That's why. That was the negotiating part. He's like, it's even now or never. I can be able to get some part of the office, and that Trump made him a deal, and that's how it went.
Well, he did probably bring Trump some votes too, because he was a candidate in some states. People were there. I mean, he wasn't going to win, but he did have probably 5-10% of the votes. So.
Oh yeah, he was going to take some votes away from him, so he had to do something about it.
Yeah. So wow.
But I think VP Harris really lost. She lost bad, but she really lost. A lot of people just decided not to vote at all.
Yeah. 20 million. There's like 20 million voters less this time than it was last time.
Yeah. That's why it wasn't close nowhere. Like, they thought she was going to win Michigan. They didn't show up. They said the hell with it. A lot of people voted for third parties. They didn't even vote for neither one of them. So that screwed her too.
All right. Well, I got to move it on. As Kevin Hart might say, you're going to learn today. All right, man.
I'm looking forward to looking back in 4 years and saying, hey, what did he do everything he said he was gonna do for you guys? Did you feel like my post on Facebook was congratulations to the MAGA. I hope you guys get everything you're looking for. That's because I'm not gonna let them see me angry and sweat about it. I mean, I survived the last Trump era. I'll survive this one. But what I tried to tell people, and I know you get ready to go, but I tried to tell people, I think it's nothing like having a one-term president that when he's in his last term, he don't care what nobody thinks. He'll piss off his own people if he wanted to.
Nothing to lose.
What are they going to do to him?
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. So he's going big guns on this. I don't think he's going to get us out of the deficit at all, but he's going to make sure that his retirement plan is good.
Retirement plan? He's fucking 80. What do you mean retirement plan?
Well, because he's going away after the 4 years. He's saying bye. He want to make sure that his kids don't have to pay taxes. He's going to make sure that everything for the Trump family is fine. That's the only reason why he's back in office right now.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming up. You're scaring the hell out of me, but thanks for coming through.
All right, man.
All right, appreciate it. Will G says that military draft bill House Republicans passed months ago will pass in the Senate and Trump will sign it. Yeah, I believe that. I do believe. I mean, at this point, you got to think whatever Trump wants, he gets at this point. That's he has so much control of so many mechanisms in government. Whatever he wants, he will get. I didn't get as many positives I wanted to hear though. They've been fine. He's a billion. They'll be fine. He's a billionaire. They got nothing to do with it. They'll be fine. They want more money. Like Elon Musk, Dinkow was talking about. He'll be like, he has the possibility of becoming the first trillionaire. Elon Musk is not turning down money. You say he'll be fine. Elon Musk is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. He's still taking more money on. So it ain't got nothing to do with whether they'll be fine or not. They still want money. I mean, Jeff Bezos is the same. He's still collecting money. He ain't turning it down. So they're not doing it to be fine. They want to just simply be greedy. Nevertheless, I do appreciate you folks as always on the program. 75,000. I didn't solicit enough for you guys to tap the screen, but I do appreciate the fact that you got your boy at 75,000. My device batteries are getting pretty low, so I do have to step away as always. Feel free to follow the program, a subscription on YouTube if you will. And indeed, I will see you folks tomorrow. Thank you as well on YouTube. Gotta go.